Hello everyone, I'm Lotus and I'll be here remembering Emily for a PC. So the game came out today. It's developed and published by Tortita Studio. So this is like probably remembering Emily, that it should be her, and it's like it has two endings, and to know the full story you need to see both endings for what I saw on Steam page. So let us see. Have you ever wondered if you are asleep or awake? If you are living a dream? From that day, since Emily's death, I can't stop feeling this way. Traffic accident. So Emily's dead. Tragic accident in city center. 25-year-old woman was hit by a car while she was fleeing from her assailant. Thomas, are you alright? Yes, I'm sorry. I don't think I'm ready to talk about it yet. That's understandable, Thomas. Every time we try to get to the bottom of this, you find it impossible to continue. I guess I'm afraid of looking insensitive, or that I didn't have any feelings for Emily. If you hadn't felt anything, you will be going through this. Nor will you be here. Would you like to talk about her now? Yes, I think I'm ready. What was Emily like? Emily was a person I could never figure it out. You could tell she hadn't a good life for sure. And when I met her, she was suffering a lot. Emily was stunning. Every time I saw her, I couldn't think about anything else, even at times when I wanted to escape from her side at all costs. Would you say it was love? I'll rather not to answer that question right now. Of course, let's go step by step. I've never met anyone like Emily before, that's for sure. Anyway, Thomas, as far as I know, you never had a great relationship with Emily. You say that because we didn't spend a great deal of time together, don't you? Yes, exactly. From my reports, when you talk about Emily, you always point to really short periods of time. So far, we have only talked about isolated moments and somewhat abstract emotions about Emily. Still, I will say that the time you were with her was not very long. Probably only a few months, yes, more or less. I must admit that even though it may seem like a very short time, it was very intense. It's interesting that you used the word intense. Intense in what way, Thomas? Because of the excitement, the confusion, the anguish, everything at the same time. With Emily, there was never a middle ground. It was all or nothing, light or darkness, absolute happiness or unbearable despair. That sounds exhausting. It was. But it was also addictive. When I was with her, I felt like everything else in my life faded away. As if nothing mattered more than the moment she looked at me. Although sometimes that same intensity made me want to run away. Run away. You said that before. Indeed. Why did you want to run away from Emily, Thomas? I don't know. Or maybe I do know, but I don't want to admit it. Why don't you want to admit it? Because then I will have to accept that Emily wasn't just what I wanted to see in her. And what was it that you didn't want to see? Thomas, I know this is difficult, but if you are here, it's because you need to face those feelings. You can't keep running away inside your own mind. I know, but everything still feels so real. Sometimes I have the feeling that there is something that eludes me, as if there were a piece of puzzle that I can see. This is something that at some point you wanted to do, because you felt you needed it. Yes, I wanted to forget. To be able to forget, first you need to understand. How is it possible that our story was so short, but left such a deep impression on me? Because emotions do not understand about time, but the impact they have on us. And from what I can see, Emily had a profound impact on you. She did. Then perhaps we should go back to the beginning. How did you meet Emily? And how did you kill her? What? We are the one that killed her? Chapter 1, First Contact. The sky woke up grey that day. Cars passed slowly, as if no one was in a hurry to get anywhere. That day the city had awoken earlier than usual. The cafe had a perfume of freshly ground coffee and wet clothes. Almost all the tables were taken. Steam marks from the mugs were drawn on the window panes, as usual. But that day there was something different. There she was. Not without a worry in the world, beautiful as always. I could have never imagined that such an absurd confusion would be what would lead me to talk to her. American with coconut milk ready. Out of the corner of my eye I saw someone approaching, confident as if she was going straight for the coffee. I didn't think too much. I tried to go ahead and pick up the coffee, perhaps by reflex. Or to avoid the awkward moment of having to explain to a stranger that she had the wrong coffee. Who will order Americano with cocoa milk besides me? What I didn't expect was that she was going to pick it up before me. And even less, that she thought I was the one who was wrong. Sorry, that's my coffee. I think you are mistaken. What do you mean yours? They didn't call a name. And you came straight for it. Yeah, it's just I ordered an Americano with coconut milk. Exactly what you have in your hand. So did I. And when they say it, I didn't hesitate because, come on, who else will order something like this? That's true, I didn't hesitate either. When I heard it, I got up without thinking, and here we are. Well, a great way to start the day. Someone trying to steal my coffee without saying a word, not even good morning. My bad, really. It wasn't like that. It's okay, it may have been a misunderstanding. I guess. It was nothing but a misunderstanding. Although it goes without saying that coincidence is a bit odd. Quite a lot. Because I don't know anyone else who takes it that way. Me neither. Up until now. Okay, sorry for jumping the gun. It's just, I don't know. I'm quite jumpy lately and this caught me off guard. I get it. Had it been me the one who grabbed the coffee first, I would be like you right now. Well, at least we have a good taste, don't we? So it seems. American with coconut milk, that's the missing one. Seriously, you are the first person I ever met to order this. I usually get funny looks when I order it. The truth is, I have never tried it. Then why did you order it? I saw it on Reddit. A reply on a post about hair coffees. It came up as suggestions this morning. It caught my attention. So was it really because of a comment on Reddit? Yes. I was struck by or well, whoever wrote it. Wait, can I see the comment? Of course. Thomas. Just Emma. Am I the only one who drinks Americano with coconut milk? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. This comment is mine. What? Thomas Dev? That's my username. I wrote this months ago. Are you kidding me? No, really. It can't be. This comment is why I'm here. This is too weird. If it's as if Reddit's algorithm decided that our paths had to cross today. Or as if you had left a clue for me to find you. And you follow it. It looks like it. I guess I like trying new things. Sometimes the first thing that catches my eye ends up being the best thing of the day. That doesn't usually happen to me. I tend to stick to what I already know. And yet you ordered this. We all have an exception. This is mine. I like that. Exceptions say more about a person than rules. Do you have any? I think this conversation. Shall we sit down to drink it? I kinda feel bad after talking to you like that at first. Yeah, sure, why not? I could have said I was in a hurry. I could have just walked away. But something about her, the way she looked at me, as if she already knew me, made me stay. Fuck the job and everything else, right? Just stay for the girl. Sorry again, I haven't even asked your name. I'm Emily. It had completely slipped in my mind as well. Thomas. It isn't the most common way to meet someone. It isn't indeed. What do you do, Emily? Right now, I'm in between jobs. I'm doing stuff here and there, helping out with, well, things. A little bit of everything. I won't know how to explain it very well either. What about you? I work in software development. Today supposedly I had to be at the office half an hour ago, see? Supposedly? Supposedly. I mean, I was supposed to be there a while ago, but it's not like there's a parade waiting for me either. I'm not indispensable. I can be late one day, can't I? Do you usually take things so calmly? Only when I have a good reason. Is this one? I don't know. I guess I got a little carried away. It is not so common in me. And this, it's not bad at all. I'm glad to hear that. It's not always easy to get someone to stay, when they clearly should be somewhere else. At that very moment I got a call from work. I didn't know whether to answer the phone. How many times you meet someone and connect immediately? Aren't you going to answer the phone? It's from work. Emily leaned towards the phone with a serious expression on her face. Thomas? Yes, sorry. You were telling me you had received a phone call while you were talking to Emily. Right, yes. What happened next? Emily answered the phone for me. I replied. I'm gonna choose this one, but I'm gonna need to... By the way, can you save? I'm gonna need to remember that I chose this one. So, Emily. Okay, take it from there. Emily picked up the phone before I could react and answered in a neutral voice. Hello, good morning. Nurse Mia speaking. I'm talking to you from the general hospital. Mr. Thomas will not be able to attend today. He had a small accident. No, it's not serious, but he needs to rest. Yes, of course. Thank you for understanding. What did you do? I saved you a lot of trouble. Or did you want to tell them the truth? No, but trust me. I guess I have no choice but to lie to them tomorrow as well. I'll come up with something. Anything. You know, you don't look like someone who lies. Well, maybe because I'm not used to doing it. Well, it doesn't look like it. I guess you have to adapt to the circumstance. Sometimes those circumstances say more than anything else. Maybe. Any regrets? I don't know yet. I guess I'll find out soon enough. And yet, you don't seem too upset. I guess not. I felt like I've been here. I still don't know what exactly happened that day. What I know is that time just flew, and time did not stop with family in the cafe. All because of a post on Reddit. It's weird, isn't it, talking to someone like that all of a sudden? Without having planned it? It doesn't happen every day. It reminds me of a game, what was it called? An adventure where the character meets another character in an abandoned station. Without knowing why, they start talking as if they had known each other their whole lives. Bridge of Nowhere? That's the one. I thought few people knew it. It is one of my favorites. That scene hit me hard. Same here. That's why it sprang to mind. It feels a bit like that, don't you think? A little, yes. Between the coffee and that game, it feels as if I know you my whole life. It's not something you say every day. It's also quite unusual for two strangers to talk so much over something as silly as coffee. And about a game that almost nobody played? Exactly. If this were a story, it would seem like your typical excuse for the main characters to meet. Maybe it is. It all feels familiar. As if we all talked before. I don't know, I have that feeling. I feel something similar. Do you? Yes, I don't know if it is what you are saying, or if it is that it's quite rare to have so many things in common with someone. It is as if, well, the coffee thing for starters, it's not a very common choice, and that game you mentioned, it's not exactly popular either. I spend hours playing video games, although lately I just browse Steam looking for indie games that catch my attention. Have you played The Forgotten Echo? I got the ending in which character stays in the house waiting for other person to return. As far as I remember, he leaves the house alone in that ending just as it starts to rain. He leaves without looking back and without expecting it. Oh really? I could have sworn it was the other way around. It is strange scene, silent, but he leaves without expecting it. It's easy to get confused, like any indie game I guess. I played it not so long ago. It left a really deep impression. I thought so. I could tell by the way you talk about it. It's as if I already know things about you without you telling me. That's a little scary. A little bit. But it's also weird, as if we will have this conversation before. As if you lived it before? Exactly. But it's not possible, is it? It could be a dream. Am I so important that you can only imagine talking to me in a dream? I couldn't help but smile, but within me, I did think that being with someone like her could only be possible in a dream. Then it must be a coincidence, or destiny. Maybe. I lost track of time, and if it hadn't been for what happened, I would surely have been there with Emily much longer. Doesn't it happen to you sometimes? What is it? As if we were following the script of a movie that no one had seen until today. What if we were? Then I would like to read it, or at least know where the story leads. Is this the kind of stories you usually read? Not really. I usually read science fiction. Plots with weird futures, parallel universe, things where the real is confused with the imaginary. Like this conversation, this moment, this coincidence. I can't say. Sometimes I have the feeling that I'm not where I should be. And where should you be? I do not know. Me neither. I guess being honest, at this hour I should be in a Japanese restaurant eating ramen. That's what I usually do on Tuesdays when I don't have meetings at this time. Do you like ramen? Do you really think not the pre-cooked one? I always go to the one on Phoenix Street. I love it. Really? Me too. Well, I used to go. Do you order the spicy miso? How do you know it? I had a feeling. You are starting to scare me. Relax, I haven't said I know your last name yet. Do you know? No. Really? No, I promise. It was like looking at myself in a slightly distorted mirror. Every time she spoke, I felt like I was discovering something about myself that I didn't remember sharing. It wasn't uncomfortable, but it wasn't normal either. Would you like another coffee? No, I think a strange one a day is enough. What if I order the same one tomorrow? Then I will come again. What if I order it every day? Then I will have to come back every day. I enjoy talking to you, you know. I wouldn't have said that when you almost knocked the coffee out of my hands. I guess I have a hard time being myself. The in here is not correct. With strangers. But today, I don't know. Sometimes the most natural conversations are the ones you don't plan. Yes, and sometimes they are the ones that hurt the most when they are over. Is there something wrong? No, I hate that sound. I've always hated it. Sirens? They make me feel like something is about to explode. I had to leave a long time ago. Are you in a hurry? Yes, I mean, no. But yes, I shouldn't be here. At least not so long. I'm sorry, really. It was an unexpected shot, but a good one. A really good one. Emily, are you sure you're okay? I'm fine, it's just I can't stay. At that moment, the purse opened for an instant in front of my eyes. I didn't notice at first. It was in the blink of an eye, but I saw it. A gun. A gun inside the bag, as if carrying that around was as normal as a lipstick or a notebook. I have to go now, but I'm glad I met you. Take care of yourself, okay? And just like that, she left. As if that conversation hadn't happened. As if she hadn't left me with 1,000 unanswered questions. A gun. Thomas. What happened to make Emily leave the cafe? Honestly, I don't know. Everything happened very fast, but the moment she heard the sirens, her face changed. Do you think they were looking for her? That was my first thought. I understand that it was motivated by what you saw in your purse. Indeed. Were you afraid when you saw the gun? I did at first, but not because I thought I was sitting for a murderer or a thief. Instead, because it seemed that everything she had told me up to that point might have been a lie. As if that conversation had been a sham? Exactly. She seemed like a normal girl at that point, but when I saw that, everything I used to think of her changed. But even so, you would have wanted to keep chatting with her after seeing that in her purse. I am not here to judge you, I simply want to help you. I will have continued chatting with her that day hands down, even with the thing in the bag. Did the police come in the coffee? Yes, it was very weird. They were driving with sirens on down street, but then they parked near the cafe and went in. Did they say Emily? I guess. They passed by her at the entrance. She was going out and they were coming in. The police officer talked to the waiters and left the premise pretty quickly. So at least it's clear that they were not looking for her. It looks like it. So after that conversation, didn't you wonder why she was carrying a gun? Emily told me she hadn't had an easy life. She ran away from home when she was quite young and came to the city without knowing how to make a living. So Emily was living on the street when she was a minor? She didn't disclose any details. I was already surprised that she had told me something so private when I just met her. But she did not want to go into any further. Naturally, I respect her boundaries. I'm not sure I would have shared something like that with a stranger so quickly. So, taking that into account, it is only logical to think that Emily was used to taking care of herself, and that she thought of a gun as self-defense. Especially as she was a child when she arrived in the city. If she was able to get her hands on a gun at the time, it stands to reason that it will help her feel safe. Thomas, I have all kinds of cases in my practice, and Emily's case is a fairly common one. Not with a gun, of course, but people who have gone through complex circumstances. Their lives may even have been in danger. Up to this day, they cannot sleep without holding a knife or something that makes them feel safe. It makes sense, of course, but when I saw the gun, it was hard for me to think about it that way. The opposite would have been strange. Was there anything in Emily's conversation that led you to think that she had not overcome her past? When we sat down in the cafe, I asked Emily what she did for a living. I remember you mentioning it. She was quite elusive on the subject from what you said. She was at first, but then I was able to find out little by little what her really was. What did she do? From what I could gather, she worked in some kind of social service department. She told me that she helped other people who had gone through the same thing she had. She told me about girls who had been rejected by the people they loved the most. She was trying to help them get their lives back on track. It is clear that she hadn't been able to forget her past. As time went by, I understood that the gun was her only way to know that if something like that happened again, she will have a safeguard. This explains to some extent why she didn't want to tell you what she did for a living at first. I guess so. Even when she brought it up, she was vague about it. As if she was trying to open up to you through her work, I guess. The truth is that she was avoiding the topic and I didn't want to make her uncomfortable. After all, I had just met her. This is normal, but even so, Emily decided to open up to you. Indeed. But in the end, we mostly talk about video games and such. What did you talk about? As she told me, Emily divided her day-to-day life into video games, reading, and photography. Was Emily a photographer? Apparently, her dream was to be a freelance nature photographer. It seems that Emily was a box full of surprise. Every time she spoke, it seemed like I was going to discover a new trait that made me want to get to know her more. Didn't she like her job at the time? From what she told me, she wanted to move on from what she was doing. Now that we talk about it, and after learning what she was hiding, everything makes much more sense. As I told you, people have different ways of overcoming their past. In Emily's case, helping others like her could be almost therapeutic, but now she needs to step away and end that traumatic stage of her life. The curious thing is that she decided that photography was the best way to achieve that goal. Why? Although I'm in software development and it's not my area, I think embarking on something like this without previous experience can make it really hard to make a living of it. But Emily, from what you've told me, was a resourceful person. Of course, as we talked, she seemed to know a little bit about everything. You could talk to her about the latest indie video game that was causing a sensation or about a scientific curiosity you had seen on YouTube. But you told me there were elements that didn't add up for you about that, didn't you? There were times, like when we talk about a specific video game, that it seemed as if she didn't really know what she was talking about. Like when you told me that she made a mistake with the ending of a game, right? Exactly. Maybe you were exaggerating a bit, Thomas? After all, we can all make mistakes. Yes, of course, there are topics where passion gets the best of me, and maybe fear too. It is true that when I listen to passionate people talking about ideas or projects, I feel as if everyone was jumping to the abyss. I envy them for being able to do that. Do you think that doing anything differently can you put you in danger? Ever since I was young, I have tried not to stray too far from what it was expected from me. That's why I always try to take the safest path. When it comes to matters of heart, that may not be the best, but you also make sure that you will not be rejected, nor loved. It was that feeling that made me think it could be my chance. Emily was everything I asked for in someone to share my life with, and that's why despite everything I decided to stay after the call from work. When you were called from work, why exactly didn't you leave? Didn't you feel that fear you were telling me about before? I thought about it, but it was difficult to make a clear judgment. Everything was too perfect. I thought, what if fear boycotts me again? Didn't you think you had the right to take at least one risk in your life? Maybe. It surprised me that I ended up taking that risk. Even when it jeopardized your job, we are talking about the strange snatching your phone on an important call. That moment was possibly one of the most disconcerting of my encounter with my Emily, almost at the same level as when I saw the revolver. I knew for sure that impulse, that attitude was not normal. Did you realize you were ignoring the red flags? Completely. But I decided to think that it will probably be a one-time thing. Everyone has something to hide, something they don't show at first. But in her case, what she was hiding was much bigger. Yes, it was, and yet I was attracted to it. I don't quite understand it, but it was like that. And if you were able to go back to that moment, would you act differently? I don't know. I want to believe I would, but part of me still thinks I would have stayed anyway, because something inside me wants to uncover all her mysteries. Even if it meant putting yourself at risk, even if it meant that. There is something that strikes me, Thomas. Your way of condoning her. You look for plausible explanations. It makes me think that you hadn't experienced something like this before. A relationship? No, never. Not even close. Have you had many relationships? None that really made a difference. That's why, because of that lack of experience, everything seemed more difficult for me to figure it out. Do you think that influenced in your decision to stay? A lot. I had nothing to compare it to it. I didn't know what was normal and what wasn't. And part of me thought, give it a chance, this might be your story. Your only story? Maybe. That's what I thought at the time. Holding on to a story just because you are afraid you won't have another one. I know, now I can see it from a different point of view. But in that very moment, it was all I had. Earlier you implied the importance of fate, that belief that if something was bound to happen, it will happen. Yes, at that moment I said to myself, don't insist, don't force anything. It seemed to me the easy way out. The next day I will face the consequences, but at that moment I was happy. Every second, even when she left the cafe, I kept waiting, thinking that maybe she could come back, that there would be another chance. And what did you do the next day? I didn't go to the cafe. Why? I had to take some distance, or at least that's what I told myself. I made the excuse, work, tiredness, but the truth is that, although I could try to justify what I saw, I was scared. As I told you, I'm not one to take risks lightly if I stop to consider them calmly. How long did it take you to come back? 1 week, a whole week, but during those days I thought of nothing else. And when you came back, I did not stop going, every day, even at weekends. Were you hoping to see her? More than that, I was going because I needed to see her. I didn't know why, but I needed her. Did you change your routine because of it? I requested to work from home, just to spend more time over there. I sat in the same place at the same time, and every time the door would open, I hoped it was her. Thomas, I want to ask you again something you didn't want to answer at first. If you are ready, I think it will be a great step. When did you know you were in love with Emily? I think that it was when she pointed that gun at me. Oh my god, when she points the gun? Chapter 2, The Bookstore. Brad Sanders, the truth. So she points the gun, he knows that is when he's in love with her? What the fuck? I confess that I'm not an avid reader, but there is one author whose works I eagerly await, Brad Sanders. I don't know exactly why, that time I decided to buy his newest book at the bookstore close to home. It had been years since the last time I had bought a book in a physical bookstore. I read everything on my cell or e-reader. Maybe because I spent all day in front of a screen, I tried to step away from it during reading. I even wrote on the author's account that I would buy the book when I got off to work. It's been a while since the incident with Emily. I had been asked if there was a day when I was sure I had left all of that behind. I would probably have said it was that day, just before I opened the door of the bookstore. But as soon as I entered, there she was. The bell which lets the clerk know the arrival of a new customer was still ringing when she approached. Thomas? Is that you? What are you doing here? I thought that I was wanted by the police? That I had fled from the city? I get that you thought the worst of me that day. We had barely met on. To see something like that all of a sudden. Did you know? As I left the coffee in such a hurry, I didn't realize my bag was open. It would have been weird if you hadn't seen it. You don't have to explain yourself to me, Emily. I won't say anything. I'm sorry you had to see it, Thomas. I really am. When I heard the police sirens, I got scared. I thought that they were going to arrest you. That I could be in danger again. I was carrying that because for a few years now I've been running away from someone. Let's just say, he thought our relationship was very different from what it really was, and finally decided that I had to escape from him at all costs. The day I had to run away from the cafe, I thought he might be close again. I'm so sorry, Emily. I had no clue about what was going on, and I confess that I thought the worst of you. I'll have thought the same thing, honestly. Don't apologize. How come you are here? Brad Sanders is my favorite writer and you has just released his new novel. Really? Why are you so surprised? Brad Sanders is my favorite writer too. Everyone knows him for his detailed Miss Saga, but I think his science fiction line is great. It's barely been a second since we've run into each other and yet you've already left me speechless, again. Clearly, if it's not destiny, it really seems like it. I admit that in that very second, I was completely captivated by Emily. Once the initial doubts had been cleared, and knowing that being involved with her could be truly dangerous, it was crystal clear that Emily was one girl in a million. Someone worth fighting for, even if it was for something as trivial as a book, a video game, or a coffee. About the revolver, everything's okay, Emily. You don't need to explain yourself any further. I just want you to know that it's always unloaded. I do carry a few bullets with me at all times, but if I'm honest, I never had the courage to load a bullet into the drum. Do you think you'll be able to use it if necessary? Truth be told, I also hope I'll never get to that point. The good thing is, if you buy Sanders' book, you might knock him out by throwing it to his face. For Sanders' short novel is the complete Lord of the Rings saga. Just like that, Emily relaxed. During our entire conversation, she didn't seem to know how to hide herself. Now I felt that we were sharing the same feeling as the time when we were in the cafe. So, do you live around here? More or less. I work nearby and so I'd stop by before heading home. Are you still working on what you told me about? The job that's similar to social service? Kind of, although I'm thinking about starting fresh. New York? Paris? Emily couldn't help but smile. I wish I could. I've started an online photography class. Nothing serious of course, but I hope it can develop into something more important. Do you feel like going for a walk and chatting somewhere? Only if you feel like it. I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. It will be my pleasure. Both of us bought a copy of the book and a few moments later we were walking through the door of the bookstore. We chatted longer than I can remember, most things unimportant, until she decided to take me to the park. The sun was already setting. The few people who were walking around were already returning home. The children's laughed and the dogs barked were fading away. I looked at Emily's face, staring at the park as if she was the only person in the world that could see it. I still remember when I arrived in the city. Is that why you brought me here? I guess. I was only 16 and you didn't tell me much about your past before you came here. In the cafe you were elusive on that subject. I don't think I've talked about it since I ran away. From home? Yes. Theoretically, I can't say I had bad luck with my family. I had everything a girl could have wished for. I had toys and food, even clothes that I liked. The only thing I never had was someone who loved me. Even at that time I barely remembered my parents' faces. I only have 2 or 3 memories of them and honestly, I can't say they are either good or bad. They are simply there, like an episode of a TV series that has no meaning to me. It's a memory, although you barely remember the face of the main characters. As for school, it wasn't much better. No friends, no teachers who care about me. It was a simple requirement that I had to meet every day. I'm very sorry, I am, really. It's not your fault, Thomas. My parents worked a lot and I guess having a daughter was not among their priorities. They simply met my needs, which was what I expected of them. That's easy with money, you can even do it without seeing your daughter directly. To go through all that being just a little girl, it's not something you can easily forget, that's for sure. I guess that's why we are here. I was 16 when I decided to change my life, to take the reins. If no one cared about me, I had started taking care of myself. And it was in this very park that I met Seth. I guess Seth is... I think I already told you about him. Yes, it was the one I was running from in the cafe. And the reason why I carry a revolver in my purse. When I met Seth, he wasn't like that. During my first week in the city, I used to sleep in this park. I guess that's why I keep coming back here. Somehow I still feel in this park like home. The thing is, I met Seth one night just like this, in this very park. He asked me if I was alone and, after learning a little bit about my situation, he invited me to dinner. I know I shouldn't have done it, it was dangerous to be with a stranger, but... honestly, I hadn't eaten since the morning of the day before. We ate at the Japanese restaurant on Phoenix Street. Now I get why you told me you used to go. Yeah. Seth loved Japanese food and got me to love it too. Truth be told, those were really happy moments in my life. That same night I started living in his house. He told me that I reminded him of him a few years ago and that he just wanted to help me start this new life. I got a job and in the end we ended up being together. Did he force you? No, I was in love with him. But I guess you never get to fully know someone. And well, that's the story of my life. One day he stopped coming home for a long time. And at that moment I took the chance to go to the police to report what he was doing to me. They told me about Seth's hidden life, a really dark one. They told me that, as far as they knew, I could arrest easy. Seth was not in town. Was he killed? From what I was told, Seth was involved in something gang related and was doomed if he came back. Let's just say I had a lucky break, so to speak. Anyway, I got a gun just in case. It was close to midnight and we didn't want to stop being together. We saw if there was any place open at that time to have a drink and call it a chance or fate, but the only place open nearly was the cafe where we had met. We've only met twice and we really have a favorite place. Have you played the visual novel in which the protagonist runs a late night coffee shop in a fantasy universe? Not really. I have it on my wish list but I haven't played it yet. When I play it, I wonder who could open a coffee shop that late. Well, here's the answer. I guess they knew we will need a place for a coffee. 2 Americans with coconut milk, punctual as always, and no fight along the way. When we ran into each other at the bookstore, we didn't know how to deal with the situation, but now we both enjoyed every minute of each other's company. As if everything Emily had told me in the park was nothing but a triviality. You told me before that you had started a photography course. Yes, I wanted to quit my current job and photography is something that fascinates me. Can I see some pics? Right now we are studying street photography in the course. They are beautiful, Emily. I have taken several during this time in that style. I think this is definitely what I want to do. More real, street photography? Yes, completely. At first I want to explore auto retouch, but this appeals to me more. Besides, I'm already making some money with them. Really? Then you are not that far away from your goal of leaving your current job. It's complicated, but step by step. The guys in the photo were ones of my last jobs. They wanted more natural photos of themselves. So they are a session for me to take pictures of them without posing, in a more natural way. It's the first time I hear about this kind of photo shoot. These are the ones that are now being used in social networks. Posting a photo that looks like you are not posing, a trend like any other. At that moment the police siren sounded again in the background. My heart shrunk. I couldn't help but wonder if she was going to flee again. Thomas, I will not leave you. Like, you can rest assured. For a moment, it seemed like Emily could read my mind. I don't quite know, but that's when I began to understand that I could trust her. I I know you thought I was going to run away again, but not this time. Nor ever again, Thomas. I promise. I admit that for a moment I thought it all been a dream. Something ephemeral. But I kept talking to Emily. At least a few more minutes, until that happened. I can't help but feeling that since we ran into each other at that bookstore, I had been the only one talking. My bad. Not that I could tell you too much either. And it's true that the plot of Korean series you are watching is more interesting than my life. Don't make fun of me, come on. What do you want me to tell you? What have been doing since we met? There aren't any change in my life worth mentioning, to be honest. From that moment on, the highlight is that I start working some days remotely. Oh, that's great. In the end, most of the time I was working from this very cafe, so I... From here? Yes, even knowing I could show up here. Emily, can I ask you a question? Of course. I understand that you carry that in your bag, but what I still understand is how you got it. At least in this country, it is not easy to have something like this. Well, it's also Seth's fault. Seth gave you the gun? No, but for his work. Do you remember that I told you was involving gangs and stuff like that, according to the police? I don't want to tell you a lie, Thomas. I didn't know exactly what he did for a living, but I did know that what he was doing was not legal. In fact, it is thanks to him that I have this job. So you two... Not at all, really, but he did have contacts who managed to get him into it. That's why I want to leave as soon as possible. It's a good job, it helps others, girls who have gone through what I have. But I want to be able to turn the page, even move away from here. But will it be possible for Seth to be dead, wouldn't it? The police told me they were looking for him, but not much else. That he had been killed was one of the possibilities. So why don't you get out of here? Why clinging to a lie that involves carrying that secret with you? Thomas, I'd rather we stop talking about this, really. Despite everything you suffered because of him, you have stayed here, living as you wanted. Stop it, Thomas. Emily. Thomas, you have no idea what you're talking about. I never intend to upset her or alter her in any way. I was just trying to understand her. I had never seen that look on another person before. I sensed anger, fear, and suddenly, without thinking about it for a second, Emily pulled out her revolver. In the blink of an eye, she held it in her hands, pointing directly at me. You have no idea what it is to be pointed with a gun, to know that if the situation gets out of control, even just a little bit, it may be the last. Thomas, you were petrified when you got here. I'm sorry, I thought I was over it. It's alright, that is what we are here for. But I kept wondering, how is it possible that she pulled out the gun in a cafe without anyone seeing her? It was late, I don't even understand how the cafe was open at that hour. It was only the barista and us in the room. Also the barista was cleaning and hardly paying attention to us since he gave us our coffees. I understand. What happened then? Oh shit, we have another one. I put the revolver away. At that moment, I pulled the revolver away at me. I knew the gun was not loud, but that was too much, even for me. Let's do the other one. I know probably gonna have to switch, but I'm gonna do this. I didn't know exactly what I did, but I could only keep looking into Emily's eyes. I knew she was judging me without a clue about what happened. That's why I tried to keep quiet and not say anything else. I'm sorry, I really am. It's just that at that moment, a large number of people began to crowd outside the cafeteria. In a nearby alley, someone had been shot at that very moment. I guess with the tension of conversation, I had completely ignored it. But the only thing I could focus on that moment was that Brand Sanders' book I had purchased hours earlier. What do you think happened? I guess they tried to rob him. It was already quite late. Although one way or another, I felt that person floored. It could have been me moments ago. And even in the brief moments when Emily pointed at me, I managed to get closer to her, even of feeling that I had fallen in love. But seeing all that awakened me the need to run away from everything, to escape from Emily. Thomas. What happened then? It's an easy memory, but nothing. Nothing? After seeing the body and the book, my memories are completely blank. I just remember deep need of running away, as if an alarm had gone off and I had to get out of that place as soon as possible. Because of Emily? It is likely. The next thing I remember is being at home, as if it was just another day. With Emily? No. As I said, I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was crystal clear that I didn't want to see her again. Even though I realized I was crazy for her. So that was the moment you stopped keeping in touch with her? Yes. But the whole reunion with Emily was almost like a dream, wasn't it? All my doubts disappear almost the very second we start talking in the bookstore. How can you not empathize with someone in her situation? When you face such traumatic stories, I guarantee you that it is not difficult to not emphasize, even for someone who does what I do. It was clear to me that the apple was the least of my worries, and that I couldn't judge the victim for trying to stop being one. While you were telling me earlier about what happened, I could see your affection for her. When we left the bookstore, we didn't stop talking. She told me how she had discovered Brandon Sanders, my favorite writer. She had tried to read his most acclaimed works, but could not connect with them. However, she found fascinating his line of science fiction and superheroes, just like me. It may seem like a small thing, but these are things that make you connect. Things that make you feel unique. And when you meet someone like you, it makes you feel a little less lonely. It is normal for us to be attracted to those who share our misunderstandings. And when there are so many, as in your case, it even seems as if someone had designed Emily for you. Someone perfect for me. Thomas, since we start discussing Emily and you, there's something you've been quite straightforward about. How important are social networks and the internet for you? We could even say that they are the origin of all this. A chance encounter through a post on Reddit. The constant search of people with your taste and passion in forums. You even met your best friend over there. Could it be that not being used to real-life interactions made you feel more vulnerable? It may be. I have often wondered if I should live less through screens. If I'm interested in the film, I ask about it on social network T. If I wanted to chat with people about the game, I know which subreddit to use for that. If I simply want to chat with my friends, I also do it through Discord. Didn't you meet them for a coffee or a walk? As I told you some time ago, I met them through Reddit. Kate and Will are my best friends, but they were living in another city at the time. As a result, I may have been more closely known myself than I should have been. Your life was just a click away, wasn't it, Thomas? It was. Sometimes I realize that posts such on Reddit, on T, or even YouTube knew me better than I knew myself. What I never expected was that Emily would take the leap to wanting independence from Seth. I didn't expect her to have made so much progress either. After everything she told me about Seth, honestly, I was glad she wanted to get away from that. When you knew she wanted to make a living from photography, you thought it was a rather idealistic dream. Were you thinking the same thing at the time? The truth is that I understood that Emily knew what she was doing. She was taking classes, understanding what she was getting herself into. She hadn't taken a shortcut, like watching 2 videos on YouTube and believing that she could do anything. Also, when she showed me some of her photographs, it became clear that she had talent. She told you she already had customers, didn't she? She had already accepted clients for social media photography. Not only that, she told me that she had registered on several websites to get a job as a freelancer, photo editing, retouching, things like that. It may not seem much right now, but according to what she told me, it was getting better. Good enough to become independent of Seth in short term? From what she told me, it was likely. She knew what she was getting into. She mentioned leaving the city, didn't she? Yes, she had thought about it, but she wasn't sure where. She believed that if she could pay for her own rent, it was much better to do it away from here, in case Seth came back. Seth's shadow was always looming over Emily. Even when she heard the police sirens that night, as much as she told me I could be at ease, I knew she wasn't comfortable. I knew she wanted to escape in any way possible. She was so terrified that she kept carrying that gun. Yes, I still think I was no one to judge her. I couldn't imagine what that could be like. But the moment she pointed that gun at me, my whole world shattered. Having the gun barreling right in front of me, I admit that in one way or another I understood how she felt. I knew it had no ammo, she always had it unloaded. But even so, feeling that everything could land with a gesture as small as pulling the trigger, it's something that makes you rethink a lot of things. Were you afraid then? At all? Is that why you did not move an inch? Didn't you feel anything? I felt a deep sense of anger towards the person who was doing that to Emily. And love? You told me before. I don't understand how, but between the vulnerability I felt in front of the gun and the adrenaline, I understood all that Emily had to go through during that time. I was even able to empathize with her more. It sounds crazy, but at that moment I fell madly in love with her. Have you ever felt anything like that before, Thomas? Feeling vulnerable in front of someone you care about? Maybe. I admit that feelings I remember are confusing. Before I met Emily, if I had been asked if I was interested in someone, I think I would have said Kate. Is Kate one of your friends you met at Reddit? Yes. I met Kate's commenting games of the saga like a Yakuza in a subreddit. Every time we were on the same subreddit, I felt I could chat with her without zeal or tree. You know how the internet is. As soon as you deepen into any subject, fanatics of all kinds appear. We started chatting through Discord, and that was more 5 years ago. To this day I consider my best friend along with her brother William. Do you love her? I don't quite understand why, but I don't know. It's as if, by thinking about it, my ability to feel it has been blocked. As if there were a firewall that will not let me access that part of my memories. I don't understand what you mean, Thomas. Sorry, the only metaphor I could come up with was something work related. Don't worry, continue. Basically, I don't know how I feel about Kate, other than she's my best friend. Love can be contradictory, and even more so when you encounter adversity. In Kate's case, it's distance, and in Emily's case, a gun in front of my eyes. I didn't mean it that way, but yes. After signing up, I thought deeply about what I was feeling for her. Was the feeling like the one I had for Emily enough to let something like that go? It depends on each person, on the real intention behind everything. I know, but I think about how I react, and I think I will do the same thing again. Moving to a new city? I knew what she was going through, but I didn't want to feel involved. Having a gun pointed at me once was more than enough. Did you see the boy who was shot outside as a red flag? What if it had been me? On top of that, with Branson's book, I guess I interpreted it as a signal to run away. And for that reason, we went to the city where Kate and Will lived, yes. I had spent some time working from the coffee shop, obsessed that Emily might appear through the door. Thanks to that, I had managed to make my job 100% home-based, and I thought it was the best thing to do. I could get away from it at all. And knowing for sure it was impossible to bump into that part of my life again. I could hang out with Kate and Will, I could have a normal life. Did you ever say anything about it to Emily? No, not at all. The next day was when I made the decision. How long did it take you to move? 1 or 2 months. It was not too complicated. I asked for permission at work to video call them instead of going in person on certain days. Since they didn't give me any problem about it, it was just a matter of looking for an apartment, that was it. It's not like that city was very crowded either. On the contrary, it took me almost as long to move as it took the movers to give me the okay. In addition, Kate and Will offered to help me and to look up apartments there. I'll look at rental websites and they will visit them, pass me pictures and give me their opinion. I understand. It was almost like an overnight thing, yes. So let's go back to the day you arrived with the moving truck at your apartment for the first time. The first day you start living there. Since there is something I don't quite understand, how did you end up living with Emily? No way! Chapter 3, the move. Wait, moving with Emily? So how the hell she came over here? Right? The moving company had just brought the last of box up to the apartment. Since it was the second floor, it didn't take too long to bring everything up there. Even taking into account that the building had no elevator, it didn't take too long. Except for the bed, sofa and the desk where I worked. The rest of the furniture was already unloaded. The few memories I can treasure fit in a few boxes. I can say it was a particularly complicated move. I cleared the entrance area and kitchen of boxes. I organized the boxes around the room so they wouldn't get in the way. Even around the bedroom, which I had already prepared for my first night. In those first moments in my new home, I sighed with relief. Relief to be able to leave it all behind. Relief to be in a place where I was going to feel supported. Kate and Will will arrive soon. We had agreed that he will help me unpack all the boxes. In addition, inaugurate the kitchen, since William had offered to prepare dinner himself. The street was quiet with no hustle and bustle. It was a promising start in that city. At that very moment my phone rang. Kate, what is it? We are at the door of the building, but we don't know which apartment is yours. It's 202. Perfect. Seconds later the doorbell rang. My new life was finally beginning. Thomas, you are finally here. Best luck ever, Kate. You can rest assured that I will no longer use you as a real estate agent. No problem for me, we'll bill you now. William, don't be an idiot. I was kidding, Kate. Thank you very much for your support. Without you, it wouldn't have been nearly as easy as it was. We were even more excited when you decided to move here. I don't want to be a party pooper, but are you going to let us in or would you like to have dinner in Dalway? We all laughed and went to the apartment. I tidied up a little bit so we could sit down. We didn't come here to sit down. We are here to help you with the move. Right, William? I thought we were to have a dinner, not to work for Thomas. Don't be like that, William. I'm sure Thomas isn't up for your nonsense after a whole day of moving. Don't worry, Kate, I know he's kidding. Not that he's good at it all. What an answer. And I was the one who was out of line. Anyway, in the end, you are 2 peas in a pod. I don't know why you're so worried, Kate. She can't help it, having a brother like you. We all laughed. After so long living alone and not having this kind of human contact, this get together was a breath of fresh air. Well, shall we start unpacking or are we going to spend all day chatting? Aye, aye, Captain. In a couple of hours we had everything organized. Kate was trying very hard, even harder than myself. I could tell she wanted me to stay and live there, to live closer to her. After alcohol pledge, William, didn't you say you were going to cook? I don't see you cooking yet, William. Now everyone is against me. How easy to attack advances person between you. What are you going to cook? Well, since we are inaugurating the kitchen, I thought I would do a culinary test of the apartment. So I was going to prepare roasted meat with fries and my secret sauce. Whoa, so sophisticated. Indeed, I'm worried about whether I'm going to be able to afford this gourmet dinner. Keep cracking jokes, but in the end the one's cooking is me, so don't bite the hand that feeds you. Who knows what may happen? Jokes aside, thank you so much. I appreciate your offering to check everything in the kitchen. If there is something wrong, it is better to tell the landlord on the first day and not a month later, so I can avoid future misunderstandings. Don't worry, you have left the mission in good hands. Even if he does not look like it, he's a great chef. You are too late for compliments. By the way, Thomas, I have some bad news about the kitchen. What's going on? You have a leak that is dropping right on the countertop. It's not much, in fact it goes quite unnoticed, but it's better to communicate as soon as possible. Well, you should have been effective looking for issues. That's what I'm paid for. I tried to call the landlord ASAP. I wasn't particularly worried about it, but I wanted him to know that I wasn't accountable for that. Besides, I didn't know how long had been the leak going on, nor the problems it could cause. Hello, this is Thomas, the new tenant. I was calling to inform you of an incident. I was about to start preparing dinner when I found that there was a leak just above the countertop. Well, perfect, thank you very much. I look forward to. What happened, Thomas? The truth is that the conversation went really fast. Apparently it was a malfunction that they already knew about it. The upstairs apartment had a water leak recently. The maintenance guy had fixed it, but he doesn't seem to have fixed it at all. So what do we do? He told me he will call the tenant in 302, the one above me, to shut off that section of water. On Monday, maintenance will return from the weekend and fix the leak. Also, he said he'll confirm when 302 tenant turns off the water. It was long before the landlord called me back. Okay, no problem, thank you very much. Solve it? No, apparently the person in 302 is not answering the phone. He told me to come over and see if I could get him to open the door for me. Do you want me to go? You look very tired after all the hustle and bustle of the day. Don't worry, I'll take this opportunity to introduce myself. And it seems that it is a recurrent failure. It's likely it will happen again. Better to get to know each other from the beginning. It looks like it will be the beginning of a good friendship. Let's hope that it's just the beginning of the end of the leak. I went up the stairs at the end of the hallway. The 302nd floor was right above mine, so it wasn't complicated to find the door. I knocked on my neighbor's door, but I don't think I was prepared for what I was going to find behind it. Emily? I confess that as soon as I saw her, I felt the need to run away, not to look back. But she was the same person I ended up falling in love with, even if that happened while she was pointing a gun at me. It's a rare thing. I didn't expect you to come see me. How did you know where I lived? I didn't know. I just moved down here and there's a leak in your plumbing. The landlord told me to come upstairs to see if you could turn off the water. So, do you live below? All these, I didn't expect to see you here. No, neither do I, Thomas. I'm sorry you had to go through all that. I didn't mean to. You told me something I didn't want to admit, and the situation eventually got the worst of me. I don't know what to say. Just one thing. Can you help me cut the water? Recently the maintenance guy came and told me where the valve was, but I can't close it. Of course. I went into Emily's house. She told me where the water shut-off valve was. I quickly closed it. No one spoke during the whole thing, neither she nor me. Thank you, Thomas. It's alright. Dylan told me that maintenance will come on Monday to fix the issue. Okay. Thank you. Okay, see you soon. Thomas, you need to know I left the town because of you. What you mean? When we were in that alley and we saw that key on the ground, I saw what I could have done to you. I'm not like that, Thomas. That's why I ran out without even saying goodbye. I went home, got my things and went to some friends. I started working next day in a photography studio. They didn't need anybody, but they did me a favor. No, to Seth? No, it was my friend's parents' studio. I spent 2 weeks taking passport photos. Nothing serious. Shortly after that, I got a call from the police station. Seth was back. That's why you moved to another city. Exactly. The next day I arrived here with the clothes on my back. I stayed in a hostel for a few days, but soon after I got this apartment. I'm very sorry. After hearing all that, same feelings I had the day I met her in the cafeteria came back. I guess I couldn't ask someone who had been through so much to suddenly change. I lived through a traumatic moment that I ended up in nothing, but she had to live that very thing every day for the last years. And did you get the job? More or less. I continued to do photo retouching assignments from home. Also, there seems to be a lot of demand here for social media photo shoots. Thanks to the assignments I receive from photography app, I can cover my expenses. I'm really glad. Emily, do you have any plans now? Beyond having to buy a few bottles of water, little else. Some friends and I are celebrating my moving. Would you like to come to dinner? As a compensation for leaving you without water the whole weekend? Are you sure, Thomas? I don't want to be a burden. You are not, really. We went down to my apartment, as I thought about what I was going to tell my friends about Emily. Meet Emily. They are Kate and William. Nice to meet you. I'm sorry for interrupting your housewarming party. Don't worry at all. The more the merrier. But let me ask you something. Who are you? Did you already know Thomas? Or was it a romantic crush worthy of Hollywood? Boy and girl are neighbors and by an unimportant coincidence a legendary love begins. William, don't be like that. Don't worry. I confess that I would love to say something like that if I were you. A girl with a good sense of humor. Emily is a friend from my old hometown. We hadn't spoke for a while and by a chance she's now my upstairs neighbor. What a coincidence, too much I will say. Kate knew about Emily. She didn't know everything, but she knew she had been someone quite important in my life. In order not to worry her, I had never told her about the happen, but I knew I didn't see my memories of her through rose-colored glasses. Well, shall we sit at the table? Everything's already prepared. I'll get an extra portion for Emily. It's a good thing that I like to prepare food for several days. We set out silverware and glass and sat down at the dining room table. What do you do, Emily? Well, I just started to dedicate myself to photography. Sounds interesting. Is that why we moved here? Not exactly. I simply want to start fresh. What about you? I work with Thomas as a programmer at the same company. And William? Honestly, I don't know. Hey, don't be mean to me, Kate. I'm a video game developer. My brother made a game that became the most viral for a week. Streamers and YouTubers did nothing else or lie during that week but play my game. Oh shit. Maybe you know it. It's called Electrician Simulator. Did you make that game? I bought it when it came out to play it with some friends online. Thank you, I hope you had a good time. The thing is that after that week nobody remembers that game anymore, but of course. My brother made quite a lot of money thanks to the sales of his first game. He could take 2 sabbaticals. I'm working on my next game. Kate is very strict with me. Or not enough. You always take her side. I already said that the next time I will not offend you. By the way, Thomas, you had never told me about Emily before. For all I knew, the only woman in your life was Kate. Enough, William. Okay. Emily and I met by chance at a cafe. We met a couple of times. I guess it just didn't come up. So do we have to worry, Emily? What are your intentions for Thomas? Emily smiled. I think it was the first time I saw such a relaxed and carefree smile since I met her. So far my plans to flood this apartment have been dashed. But otherwise, I haven't thought about it yet. We all laughed except for Kate. Since Emily had arrived, Kate had been extremely quiet, possibly because she didn't feel entirely comfortable with Emily. And what's it like working with Thomas, Kate? Well, it's not like we are side by side for very long either. In the end, everyone works from home and we only talk a little through the work app. I thought you had closer relationship at work. No, not so much. Are you just adjusting to the city, Emily? When I arrived I was a little lost, but I think I'm already all settled in. And even more so now that I know Thomas is downstairs. I didn't know Emily well enough. What's more, it had always been just the 2 of us and I didn't know what she was like in a more relaxed situation. But I admit that as I chatted with Kate, it looks like she was trying to provoke her somehow. Don't get your hopes up. Thomas outside of programming video games is not that much help. A moment ago he was avoiding a flood in the part below mine. It was just turning off a valve, Emily. It was no big deal. The important thing is that it was you the one there to do it. Don't you think? I guess. So you know each other your whole lives? No. A few years ago we started chatting on Reddit and little by little we grew to trust each other. And now, you are like siblings, aren't you? I can tell you really trust each other. I guess so. Kate, what's wrong with you? Nothing. I'm just a bit tired. And here I was giving her the third degree. How about a drink to get our spirits back up? Is there something wrong, Thomas? Nothing, just that. Don't you remember well what happened? I'm not sure. Try to remember, Thomas. What happened next? Emily went home to get something to drink. I took out a drink to relax the atmosphere. Shit. I'm gonna say the second one. I think this is a fantastic idea, will you? Of the few things I brought back from my old city, this bottle of liquor was one of them. We didn't know about the parting Thomas. It's good that he's coming out now. It is one of my few guilty pleasures. A drink while playing a game. It is unsurpassed. So, shall we play a game now? We all laughed. At that moment, only the drink. We poured the liquor into some glass that I took out of the pantry and toast. Well, you will have to tell me how to get it. I will take the secret to my grave. We all laughed, and just moments later, Kate and William start yawning. I don't think I have stamina left, I'm sorry. I'm a little tired too, we should get going. We say goodbye to William and Kate. We could barely stand up tall. I guess that, after the whole day of moving, our stamina was starting to run low. Thomas, you look very tired. Would you like me to walk to your room? Don't worry, Emily, I'm fine. Thomas, you almost bump into the couches now. Come on, I'll help you. With difficulty, Emily carried me to my bedroom, where she laid me down. At that moment, Emily rolling onto her back and removed her shirt and pants. I couldn't believe what was happening. Emily was next to me on the bed, in her underwear, and I could hardly do anything. Emily, what are you doing? I thought it would be nice to end the night. Emily, I think you are not thinking straight. I invite you to dinner, but with no hidden agenda, and even less for this. I thought we felt the same way. That you liked me, even. Emily, since I met you, everything has been very complicated. Of course I have feelings for you, that's obvious. But I can't ignore everything that has happened since we met. Do you think I have forgotten? In all this time I had a hard time trusting anyone, even those who were supposed to be my friends. I always on the lookout, in case they might be collaborating with Seth, but one day some idiot tried to take a coffee from me in the coffee shop. And without hardly understanding why, that idiot is the only one I can trust, even love. Emily. Don't worry, Thomas, I'm leaving. Emily, wait. I confess that I feel the same way about you, even when you took out that off the bag. I'm sorry, I really am. I understood what you wanted to show me. Your helplessness. But it's something I have a hard time letting go. Thomas, I have moved to a new city. I was so afraid that Sam might follow me. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. I simply wanted to start a new life. I didn't even punch you again, no matter how much it hurt. And just when I thought I could start fresh, you knocked on my door. If that's not destiny, I honestly don't know what else could be. At that moment, Emily approached me. She started kissing me, and finally, we ended up spending the night together. I know you told me this before, but I still don't understand after how she made you feel. You end up having an intimate relationship with Emily. I could tell you a million excuses. Alcohol may not have let me think clearly. I no possession to contact Emily as she was really insistent. I just got carried away. But if I look inside myself, honestly, I wanted to be intimate with Emily. It's only natural, Thomas. I thought in an unconventional way. After all, you were in love with Emily. But I admit that I didn't want to complicate things. I had to escape from a city to forget all that with her, and 5 minutes later I was in a new apartment with Emily lying on my bed. It's not the most common, of course, but in the end, our subconscious is madly searching for what it wants. Maybe you didn't realize at the moment, but it's like that she ended up in that city because of something you told Emily at some point. Our destiny had pulled its strings so that you could be together. At that moment it crossed my mind that maybe I had unconsciously gone after Emily, but soon after I put that out of my mind. I didn't want to be with someone who could directly put me in danger, either because of her own life or on her own. That's understandable, Thomas. There is a question I wanted to ask you. If you don't want to answer, you don't have to. But it will be really interesting to know what kind of chemistry you had with each other. Sure. How was your intimate relationship? Did you connect? That's possibly the weirdest thing of all. Why? Because I don't remember. Of course he drank alcohol, how the hell are you gonna remember? So you don't know if you had a relationship with Emily? Yes, we did, or at least I think we did. Emily the next morning told me that it had been something very special for her. She gave me some details, so to say, about what happened during the night. Did you lose consciousness? No, of course not. According to Emily, at first I was really active after drinking some water, but when we finished I just fell asleep. It hadn't been exactly been a relaxing day. And from what I know, you are not used to drinking. Very little, only in these type of occasions. What happened to the following morning? Actually, it was all really simple. I confessed her that I thought it had been a mistake. That it had been something special, but that I thought it would be best if we were only friends. Emily, how did she take? Pretty well, she even apologized. She told me that she knew I was not in best conditions and that maybe she had insisted too much. I understand. On another note, I understand that the reunion with your friends in New City went well. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. After so long living alone, with virtual no social interaction other than with people at work, it was a breath of fresh air. I would like to chat about them so we can get to know them better. How is your relationship with William? William is one of the people I admire the most. As crazy it may sound, Kate did not introduce me to William. But wasn't he her brother? I assume Kate had introduced him to you. The truth is that it was a great coincidence. William was making the game that will go viral a few months later. The thing is that Kate was helping him test it and saw that in his Discord he was playing Electrician Simulator. I looked up the game and saw that it had a demo, so I gave it a try. I really liked the simulator genre, so it caught my attention from the first second. The game was really fun and I started to be active in the game forum. As we responded on the forum to find out what people thought, we gradually became friends. And did Kate know? One day she saw me playing the game and in one of our conversations while playing online, she told me that she had seen me playing. I told her that I really liked the demo and that I was looking forward to the release. Then she told me that her brother was the creator and I told her that we had been chatting on Discord and playing online for a while. The truth is that it was a rather curious coincidence. It is. I expect your relationship with William to be much more conventional. When I've mentioned it at work, people often find it hard to believe. But it was just it was. What about Kate? You told me that you met her on the internet, but that you had not met much. Talking about Kate is weird, as I often feel like I forgot a lot of things we have been through. As I told you, I don't exactly remember my feelings for her. Were you happy to see her during the move? Of course. After all, William and she were the reason I moved there. If I think about it coldly, I don't understand why I didn't do it before. What do you mean? There was nothing to tie me to the old city. Even work was not impediment. Now that I think about it, I don't understand why I lived there for so long. And knowing that I was so close to living close to the people I care about, we often analyze the past and fail to understand decisions we made. It is part of life. Living and learning from what happened to us. But on second thought, I think I could have moved anywhere to be with Kate. Even if you weren't in love with her at the time? Yes, maybe. Speaking of Kate, it seemed that during dinner she wasn't too comfortable. When we were having a dinner, Emily was a little direct with Kate. In which sense? She spoke on several occasions about the relationship she had with me, that she considered me someone she was very close to and those sort of things. Was she jealous? I don't know, honestly. Everything about Kate at this point in my life is very confusing and hard for me to remember. Kate may have wanted a deeper relationship with you and Emily may have gotten it. It may not have sat entirely well with him. I guess that makes sense. I had never been with more people when I was with Emily. That made it easy for me to have conversations with her that I could hardly have had with anyone else. Did you usually talk to Kate on Discord? Yes, but it's not the same. Although I talked to her many times, we talk about our day-to-day lives or what we were playing. Sometimes I think I remember we went further, but I don't think I ever to the level I had with Emily. And with William, I do remember being much more open. But with Kate, it's all very confusing, and I don't quite understand why. Let's go back to dinner. Was Kate very talkative? Until almost the end, she practically did not comment much. William was sent off the party as usual, and Emily did participate heavily in the conversation. He managed to integrate well with you. Yes, at least with William. But after Kate and Emily spoke more direct, the atmosphere was not as relaxed as before. Did you do anything to relax the atmosphere? Not at first. I'm having a hard time thinking clearly, but I didn't understand why Kate might have been upset. I may never have fully understood Kate. Even if she was your best friend? It may be. I understand that because of all that, William commented about having a drink at the end of dinner. As the atmosphere had become a bit heated, William tried to calm things down by suggesting it. I guess William quickly identified that his sister was not too comfortable, and so he tried to quickly change the subject. Under William's appearance, who looks like someone who only talks in jest, there is a really sensitive person. He is also very protective of his sister, so it's only natural that he will be so attentive. Likewise, you were pretty fast too, I guess so. While William was suggesting the idea, I was already thinking about whether I had unpacked the 2 or 3 bottles I had. I don't usually drink, but it's true that from time to time I pour myself a drink while I play. Well, that bottle came at the right time, I see. Totally, finally managed to ease the atmosphere, although we might add a little too much to drink, since we ended up finishing it. And it was the culmination of the day that had been very long. With the move, it's normal that you didn't finish very late. I'll be lying to you if I didn't tell you that before dinner I was already ready for bed, and William and Kate, they gave out their all to help me. So except for Emily, we were pretty tired from all the hustle and bustle. Did you rest the next day? Initially yes, but in the morning after Emily left my apartment, Kate called me. She asked me if I wanted the 3 of us to spend the day together since after his reunion. I sensed that it might have affected me. Kate knew much of what happened, I told you, and I thought it would be good to get out and clear my head. Where did you go? There was a retro arcade in the center of town and they wanted to show it to me. That was the day you returned home with Kate. Isn't that right, Thomas? Yes, that's right. Tell me what happened that day, Thomas. And explain to me how you found Emily inside your house that day. Wait, what? How the hell she was inside? Huh? How the hell she could enter? Friends. Emily has just left my apartment. I thought she left in a friendly way. You could sense some tension between us, and even more so us. I couldn't even remember anything that had happened between us. I appreciated Kate's call, timely as always, to take my mind off the previous day hustle and bustle. We had arranged to meet at a coffee shop next to my apartment. They knew I was passionate about coffee, and told me they knew of an amazing coffee shop nearby. To my surprise, it was the same one I used to go into my old town. I didn't know it was a franchise. Call it destiny, I guess. Hey Thomas, we are here. Hey guys, did you have a good night? Yesterday you were exhausted after dinner. During dinner I still had strength, but in the end my body could not take it anymore. And you weren't the one who made the most effort during the move. Right, Thomas? He supported us with his incredible presence. Every group needs someone to cheer the others. I sacrificed myself to assume this great responsibility. We burst into laughter. If it weren't for William, Kate would surely have been much more tense about what happened the day before. Have you ordered? We already have our coffees. And we already ordered yours. I don't think the barista even knew that could be done. Not everyone is prepared for a palate as fine as Thomas. Someday I'll get you to try it, and you'll see what you won't want anything else. Better sit tight, Thomas. American with coconut milk, sure sit tight. Well, how about Emily? There was a brief silence of a few seconds, until I finally decided to respond. I didn't expect to find it here. It was a rather strange situation. What I don't get is why you invite her to have dinner with us. After everything you had told me, I think I'm missing out. What happened with Emily? Actually, I only know Emily from 2 specific moments. The first time I talked to her for a whole morning in a coffee shop, practically identical to this one, and she ended up running away from there when she heard the police sirens. Was she a fugitive? The second time she explained why she ran away, and it was out of fear of her at the time partner. That's too bad. So if Emily is the victim in all of this, why is it so weird that you were nice to her? Apparently something happened that second time, but Thomas hasn't told me what it was. Let's just say I didn't like what I found out about Emily, and when I did, I tried to get away from her as soon as possible. I can't imagine what could have worried you so much about her. But if your reaction was that, you really must have a good reason. Kate looked showed concern. The tone of voice in which she spoke was delicate, as if she believed that a word would hurt my feelings. I don't know if I did the right thing or not, but at the time I didn't want to face that kind of situation. It might have been selfish, but I wasn't ready. You have truly left me intrigued. But if that's what you felt at the time, if you want to get away from her, you can crash at my house. Tomorrow, real estate agents Kate and Will set out to find a new apartment. Don't worry, William, thanks. When I went up to her apartment yesterday, she explained some things I didn't understand. Truth be told, I really want to believe her. You know you can count on us, right? I know, that's also why I decided to move here. After a few seconds of silence between us, William finally stepped in to save the situation. Chop, we have a busy schedule today. What's on the agenda? There's a retro arcade downtown and we thought you'll fancy going there. And then we're going to stop by the bookstore. Why? Are you going to buy something? And possibly you too. You are all over the place, aren't you? At that moment I understood everything. Brad Sanders' new book. Indeed. This time it has taken him quite a while to release another of his books, 2 or 3 months since the previous one. You can tell he's out of shape. The three of us start laughing. I regain my speech and remember why I was there, and we headed off to spend the morning in the arcade. We arrived at the arcade. As I walked through the door, it looked like I had traveled back in time. Machines that I hadn't seen since childhood, which were all even dead. Luminous marquees with games that were the kings more than 3 decades ago. And to top it off, the owners of the place from time to time set the mood with a little smoke, as in concerts. I think that they wanted to represent as faithful as possible what an arcade was like in the 80s or 90s. And as tobacco is nowadays forbidden in this kind of place, they had that idea. What do you think of this ode to video games? I had no idea this place existed. Did we surprise you? Completely. And best of all, you can play on the arcade as much as you want. The entrance fee will allow us to stay here all morning playing as much as we want. I like that even more. If you excuse me, I just saw that there is a Street Warriors shoot tournament and it's time to show everyone who's been the king of this game for more than 20 years. Don't come back without a trophy. Count on it. Kate and I were on our own. It was the first time we were going to be without William since I had arrived in town. And I think it was what I had truly been waiting for all that time. Would you like to play Final Punch? Ever since you watched that anime, that's all you think about, isn't it? You got me. Let's go. We started playing and it was long before I decided to ask Kate about Emily. Kate, what was going on with you yesterday at dinner? I don't understand, Thomas. What are you talking about? When we were talking to Emily, you seemed really uncomfortable. I would even say that you got annoyed with her. You could tell Kate was not at ease. She was constantly looking at the ground, as if the answer had fallen there from her brain. A few seconds later she began to speak. As Emily talked about you, I realized that you two felt something for each other. She spoke of you with affection, even love. I never thought there was something so deep between you. And even less knowing that you had met only twice. It is difficult to explain, but will that bother you? That the possibility of us being together? Thomas, you really don't know, haven't you realized? I like you, Thomas. I like you very much. Kate, you don't have to say anything, really. When I met you, I just saw you as a friend. Little by little my feelings changed until I knew that I wanted to be with you. Up until yesterday I thought that somehow you might feel the same way about me. I'll be lying if I told you I have no feelings for Emily, or that she didn't confess her feelings. Do you love her? I don't know. I left city precisely to leave her behind. So I won't be dragged into a life I knew I didn't want, and also to be closer to the two of you. To be with you. At that moment, I even thought I knew it could hurt her. I decided to tell her what had happened the night before with Emily. But yesterday, when you left, Emily carried me to bed as I was very tired, and although I remember practically nothing of what happened, we ended up spending the night together. There was a dreadful silence. I didn't know what else to say. It seemed that Kate wanted to say something, but no sound came out of her mouth. I knew it would hurt her. But I also knew she should know. I'm sorry, Thomas, I need a minute. Kate got up and hurried to the restroom. I knew I had to tell her as soon as possible, and I don't think there was any way in which I could sugarcoat what had happened. Minutes later she came back, more relaxed, and without giving me much time to say anything, she asked me directly, "Do you love her, Thomas?" I regret what happened, Kate. I told her this morning, and she also agreed that maybe she had pushed me too hard, and even more knowing so that it was not right. Thomas, what happened to make you run away from your city? Thomas? Yeah, sorry, I zoned out for a second. Don't worry. What did you tell Kate? I'm in love with Emily, or Emily someone I want to forget. Let's say the second one. It's complicated. No tiene... Oh, it's in Spanish. No tienes que coter malo. I simply want to understand you, Thomas. I met Emily because of a mix-up, you know that. As we talked, I became more interested in her. Emily told me about her hobbies, her feelings, and I don't know how to explain it, but gradually I became more and more attracted to her as we talked. When I saw it for the second time, I recognized that a lot of things happened. But even with everything that happened between us, I confirmed that I fell in love with her. Then, what happened to make you want to flee the city? I got scared. Even if I fell in love with Emily, being with her involved so many things that I couldn't stand it. There was a moment when it showed her helplessness. She even put another gun on me, pointing at me. Thomas. She didn't want to hurt me, just to show me what she had to endure every day. Their helplessness. You know me, Kate. I avoid conflicts, complications, and Emily represented everything I was most afraid of. So, as painful as it was, I'd say it was best to run away from her. I'm sorry that happened, Thomas. I guess I thought I was over it. But when I saw Emily upstairs, all those memories came back without being able to stop them. And on top of everything that happened afterwards, it made the situation not much better. Does she want something else? The next day I didn't remember anything. Emma was the one who told me everything. We talked calmly and I told her that it had been a mistake. Kate, I really don't want to be with Emily. But I can't tell you exactly how I feel about you either. Thomas, I will always be here. You know that, don't you? Thank you, Kate. And if at some point you know, I'll be waiting for you, even after knowing everything you have told me. At that moment, William appeared. He did not look very happy. This is the last time I entered a Street Warriors 2 championship. What happened? One player started mashing boulders, always throwing me the same attack from far away. It was impossible for me to know what he was going to do, and I got eliminated in the third round. You could cut the tension with a knife. After the conversation with Kate, we were both still at loss for words. You are very quiet. Did the cat bite your tongue? Don't be ridiculous, William. Why didn't you get past first skin of Final Punch? Did you get so caught up in your conversation that you forgot about the game? Something like that. Shall we play a few more games and go to the bookstore? Of course. We spent more time playing on various arcade machines. Little by little, Kate and I went back to normal. But this side, I was really confused. As I told you, I don't know what I felt about Kate. We arrived at bookstore. I confess that seeing the shelf with Brad Sanders' feature books again didn't do me any good. Although this time the company, it was very different. I think that I have to reread the previous book. It's been too long since the last one. But the last one was a few months ago, William. Into this in years, that's almost decades. You're absolutely right. Thomas, what happened last time you bought the latest Sanders book? You told us something. Kate was more relaxed than in the arcade. Fortunately, her cheerful mood was back and I was able to give a break to feelings I didn't know how to sort out. Have you got your bulletproof vest with you? Why? Kate quickly looked at me quite worried. I didn't know what William was talking about or why he had made such a comment. Did he know about Emily? Didn't someone got shot outside the bookstore where you bought Sanders' latest book? Ah yes, kind of. I was having a drink at the cafe when a guy who had just bought the book was shot pretty close. Oh, you haven't told me anything. I didn't want to worry you. I know how you feel about these things. And I don't worry about you. You are already emotionless, William. That's true. We bought the books and at the moment everything came to mind. Last 48 hours have been incredibly intense and I suddenly started to feel really weak. Thomas, are you okay? You don't look so good, buddy. I've been better, that's true. I think that I'm just a bit dizzy. A move, reunions, a day out. I can't think of a reason. Would you like us to walk you home? No, it's not necessary. I can't go alone. I'm really close. I'll feel bad if I got you home. Thank you, Kate. I appreciate it. I'll call you a cab so you can go to Thomas, okay? I'll go with you, but I have a meeting in an hour with a publisher for my next game. Why didn't you say something earlier? I didn't want to jinx it, but I don't want you to think that I will leave a friend on his last breath. You are the best at making excuses, William. That's my style. We arrived at my apartment a bit later. William called a cab and we crossed the town within minutes. Thank you, Kate. I think I can go on my own. Thomas, I didn't go across town not to make sure you're okay. We went into my apartment. Everything was quiet and little by little I was feeling better. I'm going to prepare your calming tea so you can relax and rest for a while. Thanks, Kate. I guess it wasn't easy to tell me all of that. And I understand that's why you are like this. I'm really sorry I made you remember all that. The day Emily pointed the gun at me. It was the day Brad Sanders' previous book was released. Oh. Is that why you start to feel weird because William asked you about it? Yes. Actually, since we talked in the arcade, I start to feel better. I guess I didn't want to hide what had happened with Emily. Especially not to you. I appreciate that you decided to trust me. Even after what I told you. First and foremost, you are my friend. My best friend. And at that moment, Kate and I hugged. I felt Kate's tears on my shoulders. Kate had also endured a great deal in the last few hours. She had managed to open up to me, and my answer hit her like a ton of bricks. And I felt like I might be throwing away the chance to be with someone that was really worth it. A few minutes passed. I drank the tea while chatting with Kate about unimportant things. I was trying to understand why I didn't feel for Kate the same way I felt for Emily. I think had too many emotions for today. I'll take you to the bedroom so you can rest. It will be the best. I opened the bedroom door when we saw somebody within the darkness out room of the room. It was Emily. She was crying sitting on the bed. What are you doing here, Emily? How did you get in? The doorman lent me the keys to your apartment. When he saw me leaving your apartment, I told him that I was your girlfriend and that I had left something there. But what are you doing here? It's because of Seth. He knows I live here. In that instance, my whole world fell apart. I had fled from my old city because of that. Because I didn't want to be a part of it. And it had hit me full on. Did you see him? Did the police tell you? I seen him lurking in the street from the window. He was at the cafe across the street the whole afternoon. I guess he was waiting for me to come out. I don't know how he found me, but he did. The only thing I could think of was to come here, because if he's made it this far, you'll know in which floor I live. Thomas, I think I'm the third wheel. No, Kate, please. You're already with Emily. If you need anything, just give me a call. I walked Kate out the apartment. Kate's face was slowly returning to the same expression she had during the morning in the arcade. Kate, are you okay? Yes, I was simply surprised. Nothing else. I didn't expect Emily to be in the room, least of all for those reasons. But do you have to be the one to help her? Get into danger like that? I am the only person she knows in town. Kate, we will call the police. We'll see what they can do. Thomas, if you think that's what you have to do, just be careful. That's for sure. We'll talk tomorrow, okay? Of course. I rushed back inside and Emma was still sitting on the bed. You could see on her face that she was terrified. She had fled the city precisely to avoid this, and now she had her greatest fear waiting outside her apartment. What exactly happened? I don't know, Thomas. I just saw him through the window and... Calm down, Emily. I can't understand a word. Start from the beginning. What happened when you left my apartment this morning? You know that I only go out to do shopping or for some occasional photo shoot that I've been hired for. Yes, I got a request for a photo shoot from a guy, and he wanted to meet a couple of blocks away this morning. When I left your apartment, I went to mine to get ready for the photo shoot. When I had everything ready, I made myself a coffee to relax before leaving. I looked out the window and... there he was. He was walking down the street as if looking for something, looking for me. I cancelled the photo shoot and pulled curtains in the apartment so no one could see me. He found me, Thomas. Do you think he was the one who hired you? Maybe, I'm not sure. I have set the vacation mode in the photo app so I can no longer be commissioned for photo shoots. I know what to do, Thomas. Did you call the police? I called the agent who had been helping me in our old city. She has told me not to leave the house and try to be with someone at all times. She also told me that she'll talk to her contact here and let me know if they were able to locate him. Truth be told, Emily, I don't know what to tell you. Can I ask you a favor, Thomas? Of course. I'm afraid Seth finds out where I live and one day shows up at my apartment door. I know what I'm going to ask you may not be the best of ideas, especially after what happened between us, but can I come and live with you for a while? Thomas, it's the first time I hear about Emily and you living together. It's not a time that I feel like remembering too much, especially this is the starting point of everything. This is why I came here. I understand, Thomas. When Emily asked to live with me, I didn't know what to say. On the other hand, I knew I didn't want Emily in my life. Emily is that person who you love, but at the same time you are certain that you don't want in your life at all. But I had no choice. Besides, Emily was not to blame for what was happening to her. Just the opposite, she was the victim. I guess, yeah. You're not so sure, are you? Do you think Seth should find her? No, of course not. Well, I don't know. Is it true that everything is really confusing? Maybe if he had found her earlier, nothing would have ended up what it was. I get it, Thomas, but we'll get to that later. Go on. She ended up living with me. Emily talked to her landlord and told him that she was going to be gone for a few months, but she will keep paying rent. Why did she do that? Was it bad to leave the apartment or just not saying anything to him? It's Emily suspect that Seth could be in contact with landlord or people close to him, so she wanted to check if Seth had disappeared when found out. Kind of far-fetched. It also crossed my mind for a moment, but I didn't give it a second thought. I went to her apartment to get her things and she settled into the room I used for work. Since there was a small guest bed in that room, there was no major problems. Emily's apartment was then empty, but she kept on paying rent. Isn't it? Exactly. Emily also thought that Seth might at some point try to get into the apartment, so we set up a camera. That way, if we saw him, we could call the police. Emily was really well prepared. When we were preparing everything, she seemed confident, as she had been planning all that for a long time, or as if she was used to it. When your life is in danger, the mind gets ready for anything, entering into fight or flight mode. It may be. Did you live together for a long time in the end? Not so much, just enough to make it difficult. What do you mean? Was it difficult to live with family? It was complicated. Most of the day it was like living with a friend. It was the one who went out buy food and other things we needed. She was in charge of doing the housework. I suppose it was because Emily could not leave the house for her own safety. Exactly, in the end the priority was for Emily not to be seen by Seth for a while. The problem was those days when Emily acted as if we were a couple. In which way, Thomas? Sometimes she would call me pet names, some other times she talked to me as if she was in her own home, forgetting that she was in my apartment because I was helping her. I don't know, things like that. Well, after all, Amy had feelings for you. She already told you. Yes, of course, but we already agreed that what happened that night was a mistake, and that it was better to be friends. It's one thing to say, Thomas, but feelings are complicated to control. Anyway, it was quite a complicated situation to let her behave like that. Each person faced their situation in a different way, Thomas. Emily, at best, coped with it by trying to live a normal life. And what's more normal than living with your soul? It makes a lot of sense, but it was very confusing. I guess it was a hard blow for Kate. It was worse than I had first imagined. At first Kate would come home, but her tension with Emily grew and grew. Worse than moving day dinner? That day I thought it was one time thing, but whatever Emily said, Kate misunderstood it and looked really uncomfortable. What kind of comments did Emily say that made her uncomfortable? Emily could comment on something related to the day to day, or she would grab me by my arm or something like that. I understand. It's normal knowing how she felt about you. The worst part was that there was nothing I could do to fix it. I was a prisoner of a situation I not even chose. As the day passed, Kate stopped saying she'll drop by, and in less than a week she told me that she will no longer be coming home as long as Emily was there. That it hurt her very much to see her and that she would rather not suffer like that before. But you kept on hanging out, didn't you? At first, yes. Sometimes with William, sometimes just two of us. There were not too many problems. In a very short span we had gotten used to seeing each other almost every day. A few weeks later, Kate stopped looking forward to our meeting. She made all kinds of excuses. If it hadn't been for William, I don't think I would have seen her for a long time. Thomas, Kate's feelings for you were very strong. She had to fight with someone who made you feel exactly like that. Someone who, on top of that, you couldn't ignore in any way. Someone who needed you. It must have been really hard for Kate. Did you manage to get your feelings in order during that time? No. When I think about the time I spent alone with Kate, I just remember it was the best time of my day. We chat about video games, movies and the books we were reading. Every day that we spent together, I realized that Kate had things that I only thought I had seen in Emily. What did you discover that you hadn't seen in Kate before? The feeling that we truly seemed to always think alike. It may sound silly, but it seemed that when I started a sentence she could finish it exactly as I imagined it. It sounded very similar to what you told me you saw in Emily. You hadn't discovered it until now? I guess distance keeps you from discovering things that, when you are physically with someone, you pick up in a second. So, how did you feel about Kate at that time? It was... Kate for me, I don't know. As much as I think about her, I just think she was my friend. Maybe more, but I cannot figure my feelings for Kate. When you were at the crate machine, Kate decided to be honest with you. Do you think you were honest with her? I think so. When Kate opened up her feelings to me like that, I knew I couldn't keep my history with Emily from her. Are you talking about the gun, Thomas? Yes. When I told her about the gun, I wanted her to know that what Emily really wanted to show. Her vulnerability. Her feeling that every day with Seth could be her last. How could I judge a person with such a past? And that's when I thought everything had been very complicated. I confessed that I had fallen in love with Emily. Do you think Emily was the person you'll have liked to spend the rest of your life? Now, looking back after everything we've been talking about, I'm beginning to think it would have been worth a try. You told me that when Emily started living in your house it was only temporarily, but I don't understand. How could you know if Seth will leave or if he will break into her apartment so you could call the police? We knew Emily would no longer be able to return to her apartment. Even if Seth no longer thought she lived there, going back would be too dangerous. So you were simply waiting for things to calm down, and even be able to look for another place to live. Exactly. But it was complicated. Her contact the police told her to continue living with me. We put a for rent sign on her apartment. I don't quite understand that. Did you want to rent Emily's apartment? No, it was simply another trap for Seth. If anyone was interested, normally listed was the ones of Emily's contacted police. If it was Seth, they would immediately go after him. I understand. Not only that, Emily's lease did not state that she could not sublet any rooms. So considering that she had told the landlord she would be out for a few months, well, it was not so hard, not even for the landlord. Then, how long were you going to be waiting for Emma to be able to move in? Because time could simply pass without Seth showing any signs of life. At first, I didn't think about that, but as time went by, I began to realize that this could go on forever. And considering how it was affecting my friendships, well, I was worried that we wouldn't see a time when Emily would take the step to move to another apartment, or to start fresh again. By the way, Thomas, I have a question. Did you pay for everything? Was it Emily working on doing photo shoots? During that time, Emily continued work, but not doing photo shoots. The majority of her income was from work she did on photo retouching websites. Anyway, I was the one who did shopping. She was already paying her rent, so I never say anything about giving me any money. And did she happen to say anything? Not directly, but she suggested it a couple of times. I simply told her that didn't matter. During all that time with Emily, did anything happen between the two of you again? Something like what happened the movie night? Are you asking if she ever make a move on me? Yes. Several times. As I told you, Emily often confused her stay in my apartment. She thought we were just a normal couple. Sometimes she come with me to my bedroom quite naturally, arguing that she didn't want to sleep alone. Other times she will appear next to me half naked, like the night of the move. She will talk to me, tell me that we both felt the same way about each other, but I always try to make the situation clear. I used to tell her that she was in a quite delicate moment of her life, even mine, and that I didn't want to complicate things more than necessary. After a while, things calmed down and we didn't talk about it again. According to what you told me, Thomas, there was a day when Emily rubbed your relationship with Kate in. Yes. What triggered that argument? Well, it was the day Emily confessed to me that she was pregnant. My God! Jesus. Jealously. I confess that when I woke up that day, I didn't expect to be the day of my life. All life will change. It was the weekend, Thursday, I didn't have to work. It had been several days in which I had been distant, even with family. We had a final deadline of a project to work on. During all that time, I had only separated from my laptop to get something to eat. But that day at last, I could chill for a while, or so I thought as I was leaving my bedroom. Good morning, Thomas. Hi, Emily. Did you manage to finish last night what you were working on? I heard you went to bed very late. Yes, luckily. I had a little left, so I was working up until quite late at night. But at last, I'm now free. Now you have 3 week off, right? Yes, kind of. I work overtime a lot, so I have some free days now. I have 7 days accumulated to relax and rest. Had you thought of something to celebrate? Well, I was planning to chill at home today. I'll play something and I'll give William and Kate a call to see if they feel like going out to have dinner. Will they come home? I don't think so. William might talk about a new Indian restaurant that opened downtown. But does William know you don't like Indian food? He made me a promise to give it a chance, now that I'm looking forward to it. Bring him some when you get back. Now I'm in the mood for Indian food. Yeah, sure. I'll bring you something with tikka masala or some samosa. That's the only thing you know about Indian food, don't you? You saw through me. We both start laughing. The light-hearted moments with family could often be the light of the day. They tend to be quite short though. Look, I'm going to bring a bottle of Fanny. I don't understand about that. Fanny? What's that? A quite famous liquor in India. Well, there's no need, Thomas. With some vegetarian samosa, I'll be more than happy. I don't understand. Don't you want to try it? It's not that I want to. It's just that I can't. Is something wrong? Are you taking any pills? No, it's not that. Since we have been living together, our relationship has become cold, distant. We have had a difficult relationship, so to say. I know, but I thought after what happened that night, we had managed to connect in a deeper way. We have already talked about Emily. It was a mistake. I was precisely at my best and it may have pushed me harder than you should have, especially because of the state I was in. I know, Thomas, but things have changed since that day. What has changed? That happened 2 months ago. I haven't been feeling quite right lately, and I ordered something on the internet. I knew they couldn't see you, Emily. You are in danger as hell. I took some safety measures. I left the parcel at the door and did not open the door until the courier left. But what did you order? You could have asked me to buy it for you. It was this, Thomas. At that moment I was shocked. It was a pregnancy test. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Emily, what is this? It is a pregnancy test. I am pregnant. And you are the father. I had to sit down immediately. even today. I don't know if I got over all that. But before that night, Thomas, since Seth had disappeared almost a year ago, I had not been with anyone. Emily, I need to think. Of course. I quickly went to my bedroom. I never felt this way before, troubled by a decision I don't even remember making, from someone I wanted to forget months ago. Calmer, though with trembling hands, I texted Kate. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to tell her, nor if I really want to tell her. So I simply texted her, hello. I let myself on the bed, but a few minutes later I got a text from Kate. Hello Thomas, is there something wrong? I just wanted to talk to you. Okay. Today something happened to me and I want to talk to a friend. Has something happened with family? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, yes. Is Seth back? No, can we meet? I just feel like meeting you right now. Of course, shall we meet at the arcade? It's a good middle ground between my apartment and yours. Perfect, I'm on my way. I took off my pajamas and put on the first thing I saw in the closet. I hurried out of my bedroom, ready to walk out the door without a second thought. But as soon as I opened the door to my room, there was Emily. Thomas, are you okay? I just need to clear my head. Of all things I expect to hear today, this was not one of them. I didn't expect it either, Thomas. At that moment I lost my temper and raising my voice louder than normal. I told Emily everything that I was feeling at that moment. Emily, I was drunk, you pushed me and you didn't even take any precautions. I was in no condition. I don't even remember anything beyond saying no to you several times. Do you think you are the only one who feels like that? Save me somewhere and I don't know what to do. I'm not even in my apartment, and every day that goes by I feel like a burden to you. And to your friends. At that moment my cell phone rang, Kate was calling. Emily could see who was calling me. At that point she also began to raise her voice. It's because of Kate, isn't it? What are you talking about? If it weren't for Kate it might even have been good news. I thought there was something between us. At that moment Emily grabbed herself out of my hand. She quickly sought my conversation with Kate. Was the news so horrible that you wished it was just a dream? Emily, please. You're going with her now, aren't you? Goodbye, Emily. I quickly snatched cell phone from her hands and slammed the apartment door. I closed that door with no intention of opening it again. What was I supposed to do? I was completely overwhelmed by the situation. I arrived at the arcade. Kate was on one of the bench in the food court. Her face when she saw me changed from slight smile to concern. What happened, Thomas? You don't look well. I didn't want to talk to Kate. Situation with family. I don't know what to do. Since you started living with her, I confess that I've been avoiding you. I guess you could have used a little support. No, Kate, you're not to blame for anything. It's just that something has happened. You said something before while texting. What happened? Emily is pregnant. Even thought we were in a room full of noise and music. At that moment I noticed a silence that flooded the entire room. Kate's face was completely blank. Her eyes were trying to read me, but I didn't what she was looking for. But has Emily been seeing anyone? No. According to her, in the last few months she was only with me that one night. Kate made a move as she wanted to leave, but quickly stopped. What do you want me to do, Thomas? Why did you want to see me? To give me the wonderful news? To tell me you were going to be parents? Kate, you know what happened that night. I just know that you've been with her all this time. With a girl for whom, on top of everything, you had very deep feelings. A girl who, right now, may be isolated in your living room. Sorry, I should not have called you. A few seconds passed, the longest seconds of my entire life, but then a calmer Kate took over the conversation. You know this has been very hard for me to hear, but I get that for you it has not been any easier. Shall we go somewhere quieter? When you told me you wanted to talk, I thought you might want a more relaxed setting. I didn't expect for you to tell me something like that, of course. Along the way none of us uttered a word, although the tension in the atmosphere was no longer so high. That short walk to the cafeteria helped us put our thoughts in order. What are you going to do, Thomas? I don't know. Thomas, Emily's not to blame. I wasn't myself. She could have stopped or taken some precaution. And not to find ourselves in this situation. You don't know what really happened that night. You don't remember it well. And Emily has always said that it was a sweet moment between the two of you. I'm avoiding my share of responsibility in all this, aren't I? I'm not judging you, Thomas. Just know that, as much as Emily isn't exactly my best friend, now maybe the best place for you to be is next to her. Those last words were virtual and earth, as Kate told me about Emily. You could see she was breaking more and more inside, trying to put herself in my shoes, and even in Emily's. Sorry again, Kate. We'll have more time to talk. Have you made up your mind about what you're going to do? Yes, I have to go back. Thomas, just one thing. What is it, Kate? I want you to know that as hard as it is for me to say, I will always be on your side. I know, Kate. Everything I've told you about my feelings for Emily or for you, it has not changed at all, even if that means complicating things even more. It would be great if you could just change our feelings with a click, wouldn't it? As if we were in a video game? Kate's face showed a slight smile, even understanding. It is a pity that life has no checkpoints, that there is no respawn point to change our actions and decisions. I have to go, Kate. I know. Every step I took towards my apartment became more difficult. I thought I managed to put my emotions in order. What should I do? It was in front of my apartment door. I knew that the responsibility for everything that had happened was Emily's, but it was also mine. Not only that, I had blamed someone who was going through the worst time of her life, someone whose main flaw was to have fallen in love with me. Besides, she tried to suppress her love for me, even though she knew it was mutual, because of fear of what it might entail. I reached into my pockets to get my keys, until I knew what was waiting for me behind that door. Then, without warning, a dry sound was heard upstairs, at Emily's apartment. I always carried keys to both apartments with me just in case, so I quickly went upstairs. Once upstairs, I checked my cell phone. There was notification from the camera app. If someone had come in, we would have known. Emily hadn't called me either. I didn't want to worry more than necessary, and even more so in that state. I went into his apartment, kept hearing the same noise. I checked everywhere, but I did not find anything. The noise was muffled, as if I were in a complete empty cathedral. At least there was no sign of Seth. One problem less. Finally, I had the sensation of hearing a faint dripping sound coming from the kitchen. I bent down and found that was the problem. The plumbing breakdown that welcomed me to my apartment had refused to be fixed. At that moment, as I was getting up, under the carpet that connects to the dining area, a rather strange rustling sound rang out. Is something wrong, Thomas? What happened then? From here on, my memories. We are approaching the moment when your life changed completely. This is normal. Just try to make one last effort. What did you do at that moment? Oh my god. I checked. All the apartments in that building were very similar, and I was surprised that under the carpet there was a loosened hood tile. I carefully removed the carpet as it was stepped on by some furniture. When I lifted on the tile, I couldn't believe my eyes. Inside a box, Emily's gun. After all, she had never told me she would get rid of it, but in that box there was much more. A passport in the name of certain Emma, different photos of me, which I didn't remember having taken, as if she had been following me in the previous city, and several notes and notes where you could see lists of games and places I used to go, in addition to two small empty jars. At that moment I didn't know what to think. Could I be misunderstanding everything? What was it all about? Who was Emily? I had to find out immediately, so I went determined to my apartment to talk to Emily. I closed the door to Emily's apartment, the hallway remaining quiet, as if nothing had happened, but then I started to hear loud banging downstairs. I see someone was knocking on the door with his fists with all his might, and before we had even made it downstairs, I began to hear a male voice shouting at the top of his lungs, "Emma, I know you are here." I hurried downstairs. As soon as I got to the hallway of my apartment, I saw him. Someone I would surely try to avoid on the street, tall, strong. What was he doing in my house? Who was Emma? It could be... Hey, what are you doing here? He gave me a nasty look, as if all that was not with me. Who are you? I'm looking for Emma. This is my house, I know Emma lives here. His expression began to change radically, as if his fury did not fit inside him. What do you mean there is no Emma here? I saw her through the window a few minutes ago. Are you in cahoots with her? Are you protecting her? I'm not in cahoots with anyone, I don't know who this Emma is either. At that moment, anger took over me, and in a direct way I asked him. Besides, the one who should be asking the questions to me. This is my apartment. Who are you? Who am I? Why do you care? At that moment I knew. Seth I found Emily. So that's how you met Seth. Yes, you were always very vague in telling me what happened that day. Now everything starts making sense. My memories were blurry. That's why it's so hard for me to try to tell what happened. Why was Seth yelling Emma? Up until now I had not been able to understand that. Who was Emma? Why was he shouting to that name to call Emily? It was clear that Emily's identity was added to the mystery surrounding her. But when I saw that what was under the hood and tile in the kitchen, there was a passport with that name. Was Emily's true identity Emma? Had she lied to me all that time? Who was Emily really? Or Emma? Could it have been a way to protect herself from Seth? The name in the passport was Emma, not Emily. If the passport was real, and I had not seen one with the name Emily, The most logical thing is that her real identity was Emma, and that introducing herself with a fake one. What reason could she have for doing that? You met in a cafe by chance. I'm starting to think that maybe it wasn't just a coincidence, and that she didn't want him to be able to know who she really was. In any case, no matter how it was, Emily's cover had blown. Yes, when I realized who it really was, Seth, I knew everything would be over that day, one way or another. Before we move on to what happened with Seth, I would like to talk a bit further about some things. Of course, when he woke up that day and started talking to Emily, it was when she told you all that she was pregnant. Yes. Why did you react that way? You were really aggressive. I felt completely overwhelmed by the situation. We were talking in a relaxing way, and all of a sudden she told me that. But it wasn't Emily's fault. I didn't see it that way at the time. I have no memory of the night I spent with Emily. I don't remember being very reluctant to want to be intimate with her. And I know she pushed me to make it happen, but you don't remember what happened next. So after talking to Kate, I reflect on the whole thing. I didn't know what exactly happened, but I knew that Emily had and I had to be together for all of it. You were under a lot of pressure. Actually, it took you very little time to react as you should have, I guess, but it wasn't worth much either. Emily was happy with pregnancy? Yes, I never knew. Of course, when she told me she had some emotion in her words, but I could never know if she had wanted to have that baby. You told me before you told me this, that your relationship with Kate had weakened, that she barely answered your message. Why did you text Kate at that time? Because she was the first person I thought of. Many times I have doubts about what to do, who to trust, about what to say, how to say it to. When I found out that Emily was pregnant, I knew exactly who I wanted support from, who I wanted by my side. It may have been the only thing I did decisively that day. I have no doubts about that. And Kate was there. Yes. Although the relationship was weakened by everything that happened with Emily, Kate was there. I understood her. If I had been in this situation, I don't know if I would have been so understanding. How did Kate take it at all? Bad. Incredibly bad. But she was extremely kind. Kate understood all that. I had told her how it went that night with Emily, and that while I may have been partly to blame, in the end Emily was the one who wanted to force the situation. It is not an easy thing to rationalize. Indeed, it's clear that Kate loved you, even if it meant sharing you or even losing you. She has always shown it. Back to Emily, when do you think she became suspicious of all that? When we spent that night, since I didn't remember anything, I didn't know if we had used protection. I didn't know if Emily took anything for that. I admit that it didn't cross my mind until she confessed all of that. But Emily should have known better, of course. I never had a chance to ask her, nor was there much time. But if she really knew about all that, why didn't she do something the next day? With an emergency contraceptive? Yes, it would have been the most logical thing to do, if she had purchased a pregnancy test online. Why not that? Thomas, many people have passed through here wanting to forget their past, and I assure you it's not easy as you make it out to be. A thousand things could have crossed her mind, believing that it was no big deal, or even wishing in her subconscious that it would happen. I hadn't thought of it that way. If there is something in the human being that is hard to understand, it's the brain. And it's in this circumstance that we understand is the least. Before going on with what you were telling me, the moment you met Seth for the first time, I wanted to ask you a question, Thomas. Why did you have Emily's house keys with you? Actually, that wasn't Emily's idea, it was mine. Emily didn't know you had a copy of her house keys with you? No. When I brought Emily's things down to my apartment, she gave me her key, but once we finished all that, she asked me to give it back to her. Before giving that back, I made a copy. Why did you do that to Thomas? I knew Emily didn't want me to do that, but I thought it was really important. Why? I was risking a lot for her, and it was important that if Seth showed up, I could be prepared. But when I went upstairs and saw that what was under that tile, not only the passport, I didn't know how to react. I didn't notice you saying anything special to me, Thomas. Emily had, in addition to the gun and the passport with the name, Emma much more. Notes with the place I used to visit. That could very well be the site you would recommend her, couldn't it? Well, it's true that I think we had talked about all that, but what about the photos? There were pictures of me that I didn't know she had taken. I began to think the worst. Maybe there was an explanation for everything, that you exaggerated a situation that was not big of a deal. After all, Emily was in love with you, and she worked as a photographer. She could have been preparing a surprise for you, or even something you had agreed upon that you didn't remember. Remember that you are here because of many of those memories are fuzzy. Memories you don't have sorted out. It could be. So at this point, I need to tell me what happened that day. What triggered everything you are here for? The real reason I'm helping you. How did you kill Seth? Wait. So we kill Seth? What? So wait, I thought we killed Emily. It was Seth. The incident. Seth and I stood for a few seconds looking at each other, completely still, without saying anything, until after a few moments she decided to speak first. Are you still there? What do you want? I just told you, this is my apartment. Who do you think lives here does not live here? Seth came close to me, I could almost feel his breath on my face, but I don't know why. I knew he didn't want to hurt me. You don't know who you are helping. Get away while you can. If you don't, I guarantee that you'll regret it sooner rather than later. His case was not that of someone who wanted to threaten me. I felt his words as an honest advice. Even today I find it hard to understand what happened at that time. Seth turned towards the door, and he called Emily back, or Emma. Emma, just to know that your little friend isn't going to distract me. Either you come out or I'll have to make you. And I don't think you want your new boyfriend to see you leaving his apartment like that. At that moment I tackled Seth, whether it was because of anger or because of the way he was talking to Emily. I couldn't take it anymore. But Seth quickly managed to block me. I didn't stand a chance against him. What are you doing? Drop it before you get hurt. I'll tell you again. This has nothing to do with you. The way he patronized me clashed with the aggressiveness he used to talk to Emily. Soon after that, we began to hear noise inside the apartment. Enough! Emily shot echoed loudly in the hallway, and little by little we watched as the door began to open. Seth, stop it. Thomas has nothing to do with all this. So that's the name of your new little friend? Do you want to talk? Okay, let's talk. But then you leave immediately. You know it's not as simple as that. Let's talk first. Seth came into my apartment, and I went in after him. Emily led him into the living room, and there they started talking. What do you want to talk about, Emma? Everything has already been said. You know you can't be here. I have started a new life in this city. Emma is dead. Please let me go on with my life. Forget about me. That's not what you said when I met you. It was all begging, asking for help, and money. I don't want your dirty money. You never cared how dirty it was to lose it. What you want? For me to come back with you and look like a happy couple. You know perfectly well that if you were up to me, I would have let you go long ago. Do you think your job was something you could quit overnight? I was out of town for a while, you know exactly why. And when I managed to return, I find that you abandoned everything. I couldn't take it anymore. It was not your decision. Do you want to forget me? Go for it. Do you want not to see me ever again? Perfect. But to question my word because of your games, even putting myself in danger after everything that was going on during my time out of town, I will not allow it. I'm not going with you. I'm not leaving. I decided to stay with Thomas. At that moment, Seth turned his head toward me. His look had changed. From it looked like patronizing, to a look of disgust I never felt in my life. Thomas, isn't it? Yeah, I want to talk to you. Emily tried to stop him, but Seth refused. I want to talk to Thomas alone, Emma. If you want everybody to be this calm, go to the bedroom and wait until we finish talking. Emily tried to resist, but she realized that the most logical thing to do at that point was to play along. Seth grabbed my shoulder and led me to the kitchen as he poured himself a glass of water. How did she convince you to live with you? Did she tell you she was ill? Did she seduce you enough for you to ask her? She was afraid of you. She saw you on the street a few months ago looking for her. She didn't want to be found. And you believe her? I was the bad guy going to... What did you call her? Ah yes, Emily. I didn't know what to say. I was a direct witness. I knew what was going on. Seth wanted to take her against her will. Seth was the one who had been harassing Emily. But I admit that I had a lot of unanswered questions. Seth, I don't know what happened between you and Emily, and to a certain extent I don't care. She now wants to leave everything behind, here. Why do you want to make this more complicated than it needs to be? Do you think I'm the one complicating everything? Every word that came out Seth's mouth confused me more and more. I knew that Emily had a difficult life, and when she ran away, she had received help from Seth in that park, but what if everything she had told me about Seth wasn't like that? Thomas, one question before you continue. Did Emily stay in the bedroom all that time? Didn't she go out try to get Seth to leave? I admit, I'm quite confused, but yes. At that moment, Emily came out of the bedroom. What do you want, Seth? What's your agenda? Thomas has been the only one who has helped me without expecting anything in return. Nothing at all? Is that right, Thomas? Seth looked at me again. challenging. My mind was racing, looking for any word that may change his mind. However, those words never came. What do you want us to do, Seth? To leave our lives behind just to follow your whims? I don't care about your life. What about mine? Do you think that for a couple of moments of sympathy you already own me? You decided to take part in my business. You know that it wasn't free, and now I can trust you. Even though I've given you everything you have, you betrayed me like that. At that moment, Seth grabbed Emily's arm and forced her to go with him. They walked through the door of my apartment while Emily was trying to get away from Seth, not knowing quite what to do, and trying to release all the rage I felt inside. I only got one word out of my mouth. Seth! Seth surprisingly turned to me. At that very moment, as Seth had lost his focus, Emily managed to break free. Quickly, Emily ran at the end of the corridor and went upstairs. What have you done? Seth's rage was increased by the minute. Without baiting an eye, he decided to go after Emily. I went after them. Upstairs, I was knocking on Emily's apartment door. You know what you're doing. I know I'm protecting her from you. Emily's no helpless little princess. Emily knew exactly what she was getting into when she started working in my business. You are talking about it all the time. What is this important thing that Emily was doing that she can't give you up? I see you don't know about Emma's past. What exactly did she tell you? What did she tell you about us or her job? She told me enough to know what you're exactly not an angel. She was trying to help other girls like her to move forward. Did she tell you how she did it? Do you know what she was doing to help them? I didn't know what to answer. I didn't want to hear what Seth was telling. How could I believe him? Emma helped girls like her, yes. The two girls who wanted to be given substance to escape from their lives. Emma, you were incredibly original to describe your job. Honestly, I would have never thought of that. I didn't even know what to say. I couldn't even think the word. And did she tell you that what she did with the money from the girl she was helping last time? How do you think she was being able to rent this apartment to survive all this time? I'm not here to bring a two-bit drug dealer back to town. I'm here to take back what belongs to me. She's not yours, Seth. Who said she belongs to me? Do you want to tell him, Emma? Or would you prefer me to tell him? With each passing moment, and at every word Seth uttered, and at every silence from Emma, it made my whole crumble. And in that desperation, I just want to know the truth. Tell me what? Emily fled town not because she was afraid of me. She knew perfectly well that she could have left me and wouldn't have lifted a finger for her. She left the city because she stole a lot of money from, how did you describe it, Emma? Yes, from the girls she helped. And that's not the worst of it. She accused me of being responsible for it all in front of my boss she met through me and who I begged to give her a job. At that very moment she opened the door, just for a moment. Emily knew that Seth had his back to her, that he could be focused on talking to me, and that I would be paying attention to the door of her apartment. Quickly I knocked Seth out. I still don't know how. I went inside Emily's apartment. We left Seth outside. Are you alright, Thomas? Emily, is it true? I don't care what your name is. That's the least of it. About the girls, about helping other girls. Was that true? Have you told me a single truth since we met? Thomas, sorry. It is true that my name is Emma. But already you didn't call me that. And it is true that I sold that for rich girls. But I was really trying to help them, Thomas. You know what I went through with my parents. I understood them better than anyone else. Many asked me to sell to them, and others saw in me someone they could trust. Thanks to me, they knew what they were doing and even tried to make sure that what I provided was their last choice. Emily, I don't know what to say. I want to believe you, but it's not much better than what Seth told me. Sometimes things are neither black or white. I know I've had to do horrible things to survive, to be able to find what I really love, photography. You. My heart at that moment did not know what to do, just like the day she pulled the gun. Now I felt that even though I was hearing something horrible from her own lips, I could only feel that Emily had struggled to keep going. How could I judge her? What about the money? Seth told me that you had stolen a lot of money from your business, and that pinned that on him. Those are lies, Thomas. If it were true, I will tell you, just as I told you everything. Seth does not deserve a good thing in this world. He's using me as an scapegoat in his boss' eye, the same boss that are looking for him to get their money back. That's why I left town. I knew that if he came back, he will want to use me so that all the blame for his shady business will fall on me. Who will they believe? The newly arrived girl from a wealthy family who was barely making sales they demanded? Or Seth, who had been their side for a decade? His plan from the beginning was for me to take the fall. I had seen Emily all the time. She did not wear expensive clothes. Her computer was really modest. Even her camera, which was almost part of herself, was halfway between amateur and a professional one. If she had stolen so much money, wouldn't I have seen it somewhere? Wouldn't she have spent some of that money on herself? I believe you, Emily. Emily's look went from worried to smiling, like that little moment of calm before the storm. What do we do now? I have a plan. Immediately, Emily pulled a pistol from her waistband, the same one she pointed me in the cafe. Are you going to kill him? If there is no other choice. At that very moment, Seth managed to force the apartment door open. Seth's magnificent figure positioned himself in the center of Emily's living room. You have one last chance, Emma. What is it, Thomas? What happened when Seth entered Emily's apartment? I remember how it all turned out, but I can't recall exactly what happened at that time. Other times when you tried to remember this, you told me that you tried to confront Seth in one way or another, but you never disclosed any details. I think my mind is starting to be a bit clearer. I was knocked unconscious. I stabbed between Emily and Seth. If you come with me, no one will get hurt. Seth, you have a chance too. You know Emily wasn't the one who took the money. Oh, I see you're already aware of the Little Princess version. So who was it? Has the dog eaten it? Seth, if you screwed up on a boss assignment or your greed made you lose it, it's not none of my business. What do you think the boss will do when they see you with me? Even if they believe you, you still have the same problem. I was your responsibility in their eyes. The best thing you can do, both of us, is disappear. Great timing. You are way ahead of me in that. You already have a house and a husband. But for me, that's not enough. At that moment, Seth pounced on Emily. I tried to get in the middle, but he pushed me aside as if I meant nothing to him. I was unconscious, but I could see everything going on around me. At that instant, just 3 feet away from her, Emily pointed the gun at Seth's head. Oh, I see the kitty is finally showing her claws. Seth, don't make me do this. I'm not making you do anything. When I arrived in the city, you were the only one who noticed me. You gave me a house, food, something to start fighting for, but I wanted to move forward. I wanted to live a normal life. Please leave. Leave me alone. What about my own dreams? What about my hopes? I'm not going to let a bunch of note banks, which on top of everything I'm not responsible for losing, take away everything I've fought for all this time. Seth paused on Emily, and all of a sudden, a dry sound flooded the room. In the movies, you usually hear the gunshots in a different way, as each sound lingered in your ear for only a few seconds. When you hear a gunshot penetrate a man's body, the sound is really different. Even to this day, I can still hear that easing sound after the sounds of the impact. Emily, I had to do it, Thomas. Seth's body laying on the ground, lifeless. Blood was spraying around his chest. Emily remained motionless. She continued wielding the weapon that had ended Seth's life, as if she could not get over what she had just done, taking a person's life, a person who wanted to take hers, someone who wanted to drag her to a fate that, in the worst case scenario, could cost her life. But at the end of the day, killing someone in any case, mentally, it is the same. Thomas, for the first time you managed to tell me in detail how Seth died. I think we are making progress. Yes, I think I'm clearing my memories too. I think I'm ready now. Are you sure? I also don't want to put pressure on you when you made so much progress. Yes, I think I'm ready to tell you how I killed him. Okay, there we go. So he killed Emily. Okay. You don't look too well, Thomas. Do you want to stop for a while? Yes, that will be great. All of that, Seth's corpse on the ground. I will never forget that. Smell of gunpowder is still lingering in the air. Blood flowing from the wound. Luckily I never had to live something like that, Thomas. Many people have been through these prides looking for a way to forget similar situations, to be able to move forward. I'm not going to lie, these are not easy memories for someone to assimilate, and I knew that he deserved it. I knew that as long as he lived, he would be Emily's downfall, but deep down I feel I had to save him somehow. You thinking like that, as horrible as Seth was, just means you are human. Yes, I know, but if you thought otherwise, it will be a clear symptom of psychopathy. So I won't read too much into that, Thomas. Of course you didn't want him to die, nor for him to be murdered, but because your instinct for human preservation prevails over any psychological disorder. You're right, if I keep looking for more answers I'll end up going crazy, and even more so when the reason is more than clear. Besides, from everything you have been telling me now, there are things I don't quite understand. The first is, when you saw Seth, didn't you call the police? I don't know. It's true that after spending the morning with Kate, my cell phone had run out of battery. At that moment I checked my cell phone just before. Immediately afterwards it ran out of power. That's why I hadn't checked the cameras remotely either. Now it makes sense that you didn't look at the cameras from your cell phone before entering Emily's apartment. But what happened, Thomas? Is it true that there is something that prevents me from telling you why I didn't call the police? As if I was justifying something I could avoid? As if it wasn't exactly like that? Maybe you are still thinking about how you could have prevented Seth's death? I guess, I don't know. But I think what really kept me from calling the police was that I didn't think it was necessary. Your cell had run out of battery, Thomas. How were you going to do it anyway? Well, that's true. But although it's just a vague memory, I think the real reason is that I didn't feel it was necessary to call. Maybe you thought you could control the situation? That you could convince Seth? I guess so. Although, looking back, it may have been somewhat absurd. The truth is that although you didn't manage to convince him, you and Seth were talking quite a bit, more than I had imagined when I started learning about your case. At first Seth was quite elusive, but as time went on, let's just say he was more interested in talking to me. Did you believe in everything he told you about Emily? Actually, I guess deep down I knew it. What do you mean? Emily had told me that she had gotten her job because of Seth. That's why the second time we met, I insisted that she had to give it all up. Because no matter how much she denied it was clear that she was involved in something dirty. Did you know that Emily had been lying all that time? What else could she do? Tell me she was selling illegal substance to girls in upper class neighborhoods? I guess she told me as much truth as she could tell me, although ignoring many of the most important parts. Not to mention that it will not be something her boss will approve. I doubt they will let her speak openly about his activities. So, when I heard about it, even thought I was shocked, and I began to doubt everything she had told me. I didn't want to blame her for all that either. It was not fair. What about the money? How could she possibly steal all that money with her standards of living? I could never believe that. It didn't make any sense to you, did it? If she had gotten enough money to put Seth in danger, well, wouldn't there be at least some whim or something out of tune with her meager income? Emily's crime was all perfect for a beginner who was just starting out as a professional. The computer she was working with. I had to buy some parts myself to make it work a little better. Whatever I'd say made no sense at all. Maybe he just wanted you to take his side. Yes, completely. In the end, if he had convinced me of all that, it would have been really easy for him to take Emily. About Emily or Emily's relationship with Seth, Seth repeated quite a few times that he didn't care about Emily. What did you think of all that? That Emily knew much more than she had told. I'm sure Emily knew Seth was looking for her, but not because of an obsession with her. He was looking for her because he knew what had happened. By the time I met Emily, Seth had already been exiled from the city. She continued with her activities, and now I understand why she didn't change her lifestyle. She was most likely being watched, having every single movement tracked. It all starts to make sense after all, yes. After pointing that gun at me, I understand that she wanted to force things, escape from all that somehow. That's why she moved to a friend's house and later on changed cities. And having started losing an identity was surely helpful. Yes, Emily in the end was still a victim who wanted to escape her own fate. Speaking of escape, Thomas, why do you think Emily went straight up to her apartment when she was able to get away from Seth? Why not go direct to the street? Why not try to be in a public space to stop Seth from doing something? The only thing I can think of, it was clear to me that the only option was how it all ended. After all, what could the police have done for her? They already had failed her. Even her contacting police in the old city, everything had been for nothing. Do you think that when she saw Seth, she already knew what to do? I think it was already clear to me, even when I met Emily in that coffee shop. I didn't see that you were too surprised, Thomas. It's the only thing that makes sense to me right now. If she ran away and escaped to another city, she would have eventually ended up the same way. Living in fear, it's not something I wish for anyone. But she could be arrested, she had killed a person. Who was going to look for Seth? In the end, he was a criminal on police report record. If he ended up riddled with bullets in the street, it's not like they were going to spend too much time on him. Even so, I'm surprised it all ended so quickly. What do you mean? Emily knew exactly what she had to do, but in just a moment she decided to pull the trigger. Even if it was an understandable and rational thing to do, it still surprised me that she could do it. You think Emily's attitude was cold when she shot Seth? Honestly, I don't know. When Emily shot Seth, I didn't see the exact moment. I saw her moments later. Motionless, not knowing what to do. But I did see a faint smile creep across her face. She had managed to leave behind the last thing that I had heard to her past. To a past that could cost her life. I know, but even so, it still doesn't seem Doesn't seem what, Thomas? Normal. I am aware that I cannot put myself in Emily's shoes, but I doubt that I could have killed someone and felt so free, no matter what I had achieved. As you said yourself, it is complicated, if not impossible, to judge someone who has been through everything Emily went through. Yes, you're right. Let's continue, if you like, where we left off. Since this is the last moment, we have to go over everything that happened. Tell me, how, finally, because of Seth's death, according to what you told me at the beginning, you were responsible for Emily's death. Oh, probably Emily's death is a different identity. Could it be that? A different identity? The accident. Probably. Emily couldn't stop staring at Seth's corpse. I was still paralyzed because of the heat, but little by little I was starting to recover. I got up and got close to Emily. Emily, are you okay? As if waking up from a dream, Emily blinked fast and looked at me. Yes, it's all over, Emily. So it seems. Would you like to sit down for a moment? Emily looked back at me, disorientated. While whispering, she could barely accept my suggestion. Yes. We moved to the couch and calmly began to talk. Do you want to talk? No. Don't worry, Thomas. The gun was still in her hands, clinging to it, as she had fused with it the moment she pulled the trigger. Do you want me to put the gun away? Yeah, sorry, I didn't remember that I still had it. Emily left the gun on the table next to the couch, and without warning got back to reality from the shock. Thomas, we have to think about what we're going to do. Neighbors must have heard the shot, and it won't be long until the police arrives. I guess we should also call and tell the truth. Emily was blank, as if I said something forbidden, as if I was condemning her. We're not going to do that, Thomas. We have to get rid of the body. I confess that, even now, I find it very hard to believe what happened, as if it was a film instead of my own life. What are you talking about, Emily? What do you mean? Do you want us to hide everything and pretend nothing happened? Yes. Seth has already destroyed my life once, Emma's life. Why should I let him destroy Emily's life now? I have an honest job, an apartment, a life detached from a past I don't want to remember. And I have you. I don't want my world turned upside down, but I didn't talk to the police. They knew this could happen. Actually, Thomas, the person I was talking to was not really a police officer. Jesus. I had to sit down at that time. Each passing moment of that day, it was a moment I wanted to forget forever. Have you been lying to me when you say you were talking to police? Not exactly. Since I left, I've been talking to one of my contacts at the police headquarters, a contact from my old job. He's a policeman, and I told him about my situation. He was the one who updated me on what was going on with Seth. Because of his relationship with my former boss, he was the one who told me that if he knew anything, you'd let me know. I can't imagine how you must have felt listening to Emily. Sorry, I guess time heals everything, and now that I'm living all of it again, it helps me get through it. So you helped her? I hesitated a lot, I didn't know what to do. Don't you remember what happened? Everything's so confusing. But I think I do remember what happened. I'm gonna do this. I understand. Aren't you angry? You sold drugs to rich girls. You all have your contacts to get around the problems as they arose. One day Seth disappears. And no matter what he did, it won't make sense in that situation to go to the police. At least to a conventional policeman. I had known him for some time, and yet I trusted him. We had to talk about Seth and what was he doing to me, and he promised me that he would protect me. If Seth ever came back, I wouldn't be surprised if even before came, Seth finished him off. Why? He was the only one who knew how to reach me. Are you going to help me, Thomas? I can't become a fugitive, but I don't want to spend next years in jail for a murder you didn't want and for a life that was imposed on you. Thomas, I'm sorry. I know it's not fair to involve you in all of this. What are you going to do? I can't let all this destroy me. I have to go, Thomas. When the police arrives, tell them what happened. The gun doesn't have your fingerprints on it, nor you have any gunpowder residue. Tell them what you know. I'll be long gone. Are you sure this is what you want? I think so. Thank you for all your help, really. At that moment, we looked at each other for a few seconds. I understood what Emma wanted to do, but I couldn't throw my life away for all that. I wish you the very best, Emily. I'll call the police in 10 minutes. Hopefully you have 30 minutes until they arrive. I will miss you. I went down to my apartment, waiting for those minutes to go by before leaving all that behind. I sat on the couch in my apartment, searched through my pockets to find my cell phone. I connected the charger and incredibly quickly the cell phone started ringing. It was Kate. Thomas, I've been calling you, but you didn't answer. Did something happen? I want to know how it went with Emily. After everything that had happened, I completely forgot that I had seen Kate in the morning. Telling her about the problem that now directly stopped makes sense. I'm fine, Tom, Kate. Just at that moment I realized something Kate had reminded me of. Emily, the baby. Sorry, Kate, I have to hang up. Of course. I ran out of my apartment and up the stairs. I banged on Emily's door, desperate. Emily, it's me. Emily opened the door with caution. She didn't want to open it completely, but my desperation made me rush into her apartment. What is it, Thomas? I don't have much time. As I looked at Emily, I was reminded that hours before she had turned my life upside down. In any case, I couldn't leave the baby behind. Emily, what about the baby? I could barely speak. The adrenaline, the feeling that at any moment everything will be over. But Emily knew exactly what I was talking about. I have no choice, Thomas. I'm going to have it. For a few seconds we didn't know what to say, but before I could say anything, she took the lead. What do you want me to do? Have it in jail? Please, I don't have much time left. You could hide, tell me where we will be, to be able to meet him or her, help in everything. Unless you gave up your life, you know it will be dangerous. You will become my accomplice, a fugitive. And we both know that you don't want that. Let me alone knowing how you feel about Kate. I want to be part of the baby's life, Emily. So I have to give up mine, my freedom, and all because of him? Emily pointed to Seth's lifeless body. Our eyes met for a brief moment, and just like that I knew there was nothing I could do. And at that moment I don't know what came over me. I started yelling at her. Emily, I will not allow you to drag my child into a life like yours. I don't care how much you have suffered. This goes beyond what's beyond you and Seth. This is about a new life, which does not serve your past or your mistakes. Emily's gaze was changed with each moment I yelled at her. Her contempt little by little turned to rage. And finally, impotence. I'm sorry, Thomas, decision being made. Emily grabbed her backpack, which she was packing, and ran up the stairs. I started running after her. Now I couldn't let her leave. She left the block of buildings and she was crossing the road. I grabbed her by her arm in the middle of the roadway. It was only an instant, but that instant, it was enough so that finally, a car ended their life. It was not my intention, but whether it was of selfishness or for anything else, if I had simply let her go, now Emily and the baby could have survived. Her body lay lifeless on the roadway, emotionless. Knowing everything she had suffered up to that point, in the end, it had been in vain. Thomas, the burden you have been carrying all this time. Emily's death, it's been tearing you up inside all this time. And you know perfectly well that it wasn't your fault. You did not kill Emily, you tried to help her. You tried to get her to do the right thing. What else did you want to do? That's easy to say from the outside. But when I was chasing Emily, I felt anger, resentment and hatred. She hadn't just come into my life to turn it upside down. On top of that, she wanted to take my own child away from me. You had no choice, you know that, Thomas. That's why I blame myself so much for not thinking calmly. For not understanding that at that time what I know now. Unless she ran away, Emily could easily have spent 20 years in prison. That the baby will have grown up without a mother. Everything because of someone like Seth who came to destroy what Emily had worked so hard to build. What happened after the accident? Neighbors had already alerted the police, so patrol cars were seen within seconds. The ambulance was also called at the time of the accident, but there was nothing to do. The police questioned me. I took them to Emily's apartment so they could see what had happened. Did you have any problems? No more than expected. I was taken to the police station. I had to give a statement. I was able to sleep in my apartment. There were never any doubts. Emily, or rather Emma and Seth, were already on file with police. They knew all their business dealings and it had not been the first time they had fought in public. It turns out this wasn't their first run-in. It was not particularly surprised as Emily told me that they used to argue everywhere and practically every day. I would like you to tell me how was seeing your friends again, seeing Kate. I guess it couldn't have been easy. No, it was not. Kate was at the police station the whole time, waiting for me, patient. Until, well, into the night they let me out, and Kate helped me to get into my apartment. Thomas, if you're not ready to return, you can stay at my house. It's alright, Kate, I'm okay. Do you want me to cook something? Actually, I'm not hungry. It makes sense. All this time, I feel as if I lived a story, which didn't belong to me. Thomas, few people could easily overcome the last 24 hours. Give yourself some time. I know, but the baby, Seth, Emily, you're not to blame for any of that. You were there to support her, to be with her. You fought for. I know. My eyes were fading little by little, until I fell asleep on the couch. And unbind, Kate stayed with me all night. Kate really loved you. I'm so lucky to have met her. Don't you think it's for her that you have keep fighting to continue the life you put on hold for Emily? My relationship with Emily may not have been dreamy. It was possibly close to a nightmare, but I want to remember fondly. And I think I just say this out loud. I feel like I can move on. Even if I can't get over the guilt, I can learn to live with it. Someday, any day, I may be able to forgive myself. It has not been an easy road, and the work we have done is certainly not over. But I think that remembering Emily, reflecting on everything you experienced during those months, it may have given you perspective on what you experienced. Which was not easy, but you can overcome it. Not only that, you know you are not alone. Then you can count on me, William, and Kate, to take up everything you talked about months ago, your feelings. Since that day in their cage, the day of Emily's death, Kate did not bring up the subject again, neither did I. And it may be time to talk about it again, to give ourselves a chance. Thank you, Noah. When I finished the session with Noah, I went to Kate's house, and although it wasn't an easy start, Kate and I knew that even with everything that had happened, we would know how to support each other every day. The end. So with this ending I got with Kate, is it? Is there anything else that you can have? Because you say that there is 2 endings, but every single moment of life is important to us, and imprint those memory leaves an indelible mark. And for those for whom the past is everything, why let them suffer when there is a solution? Remind is a technology company that proposes something very simple. Modify your memories as much as possible so that the page can achieve the desired result. We offer terminal ill patients a solution that they can live their last moments as they would have wanted. How does it work? It is not possible to modify the mind at will. Each page must undergo a cognitive assimilation process. We'll start from the original memory that caused the treatment and we'll work from that point. Thanks to Remind's cognitive recognition, i.e., No will be guided. Oh, No is i.e. will be guided the patient's memories. The desired memories will be modified and also that the desired end can be reached. We want to emphasize the following concept. We cannot erase or modify memories at will. The mind quickly detects when such radical actions are taken and the system is stabilized. Through Remind treatment, we let patients, together with our guide Noah, choose substitute memories. Memories that, although different from the original ones, are sufficient, truthful, and believable for the patient's subconscious, being able to assimilate all the induced memories and assume them as true. Once the first phase, cognitive assimilation of memories, is over, we move on to the second phase. The patient will be plunged into an induced coma and his mind will be linked to Remind servers. There they will continue to live out their last days as they had chosen before treatment. Remind alive with you. Do you want to start treatment? So wait, we are in a coma, right? Is that what it is? We are in this program and we are in a coma to take this treatment? Is that it? So nothing like that happened and you went to that. Right? Is that it? But the Steam page says there's 2 endings. So the other ending will be what? This is the problem, I don't even see where I can change. But overall, like, it was pretty cool. Like, you can see, like, you think everything is going well. Of course, you already knew she was dead since the beginning, of course. But you think, okay, this is a, you know, a therapeutic session, you know, a normal therapeutic session that you are telling to the I don't even know how, the person that runs those sessions, right? You are telling everything, you know, how everything started, how you met Emily, and what it went over. But then you see that it wasn't, that's an IE, and looks like you are in a coma because that to make the memories different or something like that. But at the same time, you understand everything, you know, about Emily, what being with Emily, how affected the friendships with Kate, and everything like that, you know. So it was a pretty cool one. So if you like visual novels, you can buy the game on Steam. It's already available. Of course, you need to like visual novels, you know, read and the choice. It's hard to know which choice, where it's gonna push to what ending, but I think you're gonna have a good time with it, knowing, you know, from beginning to the end to see how everything builds up. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Even the designs, the artwork, it's cool. Of course, I don't know how many people work on the game, but it's a good artwork. Of course, there's other visual novels that have, great artwork, but like sometimes it's like, hired artists, or sometimes like they have more people working on the game so they can make, better. In here, like I say, I don't know how many people are, but still it's the drawings, the artworks of the characters, Emily, Kate, William, Seth, Noah, they are good. So hope you guys enjoyed the playthrough of Remembering Emily, and see you guys next time.